Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us tonight. It is Street News Now, SNN. I'm one of the six guys that host this show every Thursday at this time. It's 6 p.m. on the Pacific Coast side. If you're in the Midwest, you know it's 8 o'clock. And if you're on the right side of the city or country, it's 9 o'clock already. Thank you again for joining us. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. No matter what platform you're listening or watching us on, we're here, there, and everywhere. We've got a stellar show tonight. We have another one of my good friends and professional broadcasters. Abe Thomson is our special guest tonight. And if you've worked in Chicago radio, you got to know that name because he was an outstanding sales guy, management, and eventually went into ownership, which he still owns a radio station. And he's one of the guys that I'm most proud of because I worked with him. Abe was already in his prime when I joined him back in 1979, late 79, early 80. And he was an excellent sales guy, station manager, general manager, all of that. And I had the pleasure working with him when he was the station manager and general manager, vice president, all of that. And I reported to him, and it was a pleasure working with my friend and great broadcaster, Abe Thomson. We're going to bring him in here in just a second. But let me get the rest of the Motley crew in here. Dr. Ron, welcome. How you doing, buddy?
What's up? How y'all doing tonight?
Great. Rocking.
Good, man. I'm looking forward to the show tonight. You know, Abe is also a good friend of mine. I've had him on my show many times before. And I tell you, boy, it is a pleasure to be able to have him on the show tonight, to be able to enlighten us in the history of the business. Notice I said history, past tense.
Well, he's still active. It's not like he's sitting on the sideline with his thumb in his mouth. So he's still more active.
But he's been around so long, he can be considered historian.
I'm gonna let him deal with that when he comes in. I want to put some sugar on that because see, Ron crap already.
Yeah, I remember reading about Abe when I was in kindergarten. Yeah, he's been around a long time. Yeah,
now if y'all saying those kind of things about Abe, I know what y'all say about me behind my back.
So I wasn't born when you got on the air.
To your face.
Oh man.
To your face. We ain't got to go behind your back. We'll say it to your face. You might have
been the reason that my mama got pregnant. You know, that's I wasn't even on the air when it happened. You know what I'm saying? I was
in St. Louis, the market that you are from. So maybe Lee Baby might have jacked your mama up.
Yeah, Lee Baby. That's why you was Lee Baby, because you know that's what happened. You was creating that kind of stuff going on. You
guys went to the gutter before we got a guest in here.
I know. Hey, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. And you know what? I do appreciate you all respecting me and my longevity in the business. Because see, I was around before the tubes, and then transistors, and now computers. No. Not before tubes. I was around. There was smoke signals.
There you go. That's it. You had to have a blanket. You had to have that blanket to get the signal. You know.
That's all. You're before my time, then.
Tom was pointing to the Lone Ranger, saying, "It's Abe."
He was around before Morse code, huh?
Yeah. Before Morse code.
Yeah, they was doing short wave back then, right?
Yeah. And hold on, now let me say this too talk about history about the Lone Ranger. You know, Bass Stevens is really a true character and Lone Ranger, the black man that the Lone Ranger was based on, and right. So people need to look that up. You know,
really, I didn't know anything about that. So the Lone Ranger was really a black man?
Really, Bass Stevens. His name
Bass Stevens.
Yeah. Look it up. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
but he didn't wear no mask though. He didn't wear
no,
no
he
mask.
wasn't that. But truly he was one of the most respected law enforcement officers
Right.
during his time.
At
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
during
Texas Ranger. He was a Texas Ranger.
Texas Ranger. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was not
See,
much of a cowboy.
see, you all wouldn't know that because you all weren't around during smoke
We
signal.
wasn't around. That's exactly it. I mean,
I was.
thank you, Abe, for the respect that you're
I
showing.
just look good because I'm taking care of myself.
That's what it is. Yeah, fruits and vegetables. Yeah. That's
So
what it is.
lots of fiber, huh? Okay.
No, but
Yeah.
when you think about BRE magazine and that kind of stuff, and I mean all the articles that I read on you in the early days of me getting into business, and you wonder who these people are because we didn't have social media, we didn't have a way to connect, and so your name was highly respected for a long period of time, and it will go on forever.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure to have you on the show so you can bring us up to speed. Now, Dr. Ron has a timer on how much time we can talk about radio. So if you have some other attributes in your life, that you want to talk about, please bring those up because once you do that, he'll just like magically disappear.
Well, I'll do it real quick. I know Dr. Ron, I know Lee Michaels. Okay, now let's go on.
Okay, that's it. That's all we're gonna talk about on radio today.
That's it.
No, we good. We good because I know people tune in to hear, the legends speak about, stuff like that. And it's worthwhile when you got somebody that was actually there, that was in the mix and helped develop some of the things that are still in existence today. So I really don't hate it. It's just, I know that, and I've said this many times before, I look forward to what's ahead, not so much of where we came from, even though you can't eliminate the past, but I look forward to what's the next innovation. What is it that we can use from the past going forward into the future to be the innovation or innovators to be able to say, okay, we've seen this before. When we saw it before, it looked like this, but now this is the way it's going to evolve going forward. So it's not that I hate it, and I actually, I love everybody that's on the show. And when you guys go there, it's not that I don't understand what y'all talking about because I was around when all that was going on too. I got 45 years in the business. I know I may not be as old as some of y'all, but
yeah,
I got at least
show the people you talking about.
I got at least a minimum of 45 years in the business that I was, cutting edge myself. So, so I've seen some things evolve. And and I can't wait on Reggie to come on because I know he's gonna probably crack open a couple of books and a couple of things from the past because he loved talking about the good old days and what once was in the past.
Well,
But I look at it and I look at it like, I don't want to go back to selling newspaper on the corner for a nickel.
No, and I don't think any of us want to do that either. But I think, tonight Abe Thomson is one of those pillars in the broadcast business.
Absolutely. In
Chicago. And I mean, I've been all over the country and I could bring up Abe's name and they say, oh yeah, I know Abe. So he's that kind of a guy. Now, Abe, you and I worked together. I think when I came there in late 79, early 80, you were at GCI and I was there and you were in sales at that time. Is that correct?
Right.
So other than sales and management of radio, station manager, general manager, VP, and all that, what did you do before sales? Were you in radio? I don't think you were ever on the air, or were you?
Well, I was never on the air. What I ended up doing was once I got in radio, I realized it was a business, and I wanted to learn the business side of it and everything related to it.
Right.
And I also didn't want to pigeonhole myself. So I left GCI in 85 and went to Detroit with a group. And we bought, and I ran a rock station in Detroit, WRF. And then I got involved in other media, involved in the film business and television. In fact, I run 3 documentaries that I think. And in fact now, if Kennedy King initiative where we are developing a center of equity in the creative arts. And we do the spoken word, the rap, the classical music, the films, to I mean, and everything, and the visual painting and drawing. So I've gotten involved in media at an entirely different level, in different areas, well beyond radio.
Yeah.
You know, I got an idea, Lee. We can make some money off of Abe, Charles Warfield, and Barry Mayo. We can get these busts of them, like when you see it in the president's always got a bust of like Martin Luther King. You can have like a bust of Abe, a bust of Charles Warfield, a bust of Barry Mayo, and just kind of have it in your office. And we probably could sell those.
I don't think it matters. We split the money.
No. We just need your likeness. Let us handle the business.
See, he's a sales guy. He ain't going for that one. He knows where the money is buried.
Oh, definitely.
So Abe, when you were doing movies, now I know on the streets they talked about you being a part of many movie deals because you had an organization that you were a part of at one time that was part of the film industry. So what was what was that about? A little bit, elaborate a little bit more.
Well, even now, I got involved with CineSpace Film Studios here in Chicago and in Toronto, and through their foundation, we have gotten scores of young people in the movie industry behind the scenes. I mean, not just gotten them jobs, we got them in the unions. And we've gotten some of the production companies to pay the entry fee to the students, the young people, initiation. So, and also in addition to that, working in the film industry, I've had the pleasure of being able to help and mentor a number of people in the film industry who've turned out to be quite outstanding, like Will Packer and Mike Swanson and Rob Hardy, who are just wonderful young men. In fact, Will this year is producing the Oscars.
Wow, that's great.
And he and Rob Hardy had a film company, and now Rob is going on to be an outstanding international television director, and Will is doing movies with Kevin Hart, as well as Adrian Jordan, and Mike, and another young man, Michael Swanson, is now in the film and television development at NBC Universal, and so is his wife, Christine, who's been a tremendous writer, director, and so being involved in radio has taken me to a number of different areas and mediums in the entertainment industry, because I've come to understand that it's all a business and that it's all interrelated. And along the way, I've had the opportunity to not only meet people, but to be able to kind of help and encourage people, as I said, like Will and Rob and Mike and just a number of people, as well as radio personalities.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your memories of Doug Banks in Chicago.
Well, Doug was, through Doug, I also got the pleasure and the honor of becoming quite close to his mom when I went to Detroit, because Doug was originally from Detroit. And one of the guys on the station that I ran, the rock station, was a guy named Arthur Penhallow. And Doug grew up in radio listening to Arthur on the rock station in Detroit. And his mom lived not too far from me when I lived in Detroit. So Doug and I became not only cohorts in the same industry, but we became much like family, an extended family, and even his daughters and his ex-wife, we became real close. But Doug was a guy who just had a tremendous amount of talent, and it's sad when I think of it, because if Doug, like many of us should, had taken better care of himself, I think he would have been here today. You know, because he was a good guy.
You know,
And
you spoke highly of you. I had a chance to produce his show a
yeah,
couple of years back before he passed away. And a couple of conversations he had about you. And I said, well, I don't know Abe, but I mean, he really, really had a lot of admiration for you and the guidance and conversations that you guys obviously had in grooming him and helping him in the business. Because Doug had a lot of respect for people in broadcasting,
yeah,
you know, and he wanted to clearly be that guy. And he was, without the shadow of a doubt. And when you think about our contemporaries in the business and the contributions that you guys have made to broadcasting, we can't do anything but tip our hats to you, man, because we have to have leaders all the time. And you guys were already showing that whether you were trying to do it or not, it was just kind of naturally happening. And whenever he would talk to me about you, I mean, he would light up like a candle, man. And it was incredible.
Well, we would talk quite often. As I said, I was close to his mother. And then the fact that I ended up, after we worked together in Chicago, ended up owning and running a station that he grew up listening to in Detroit. And one of the disc jockeys who he had grown up listening to was still there and quite involved. And then ended up becoming quite close to Doug's wife, Wendy, and then their children. It was just one of those other rewards from being in the business that helped you to develop not only friends but extended family.
Mm-hmm.
That was another reward that I garnered from being involved in the broadcast industry. It was not just learning how it translated to other platforms and other industries, but to develop this extended family. You know, like Lee, like Doc. You know, where you meet people where you may not talk to them every day, but you develop an admiration and a love for one another. You know, that goes well beyond what you do in your professional life.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Daryl Brown, yourself, and other executives coming out of Chicago helped craft a company that I work with, which was the ABC Radio Network.
Right.
And I mean, just you got to think about this and take a lot of credit for it. You know, that's what launched syndication for African American radio.
Yeah.
Because that was coming out of Chicago.
Yeah, and I remember when what was his name? John Tyler, the Satellite Music Network out in Mokina. Was it Mokina, Illinois?
Yeah,
and it ended up going out to Dallas, and then that ended up going on and then becoming the Satellite Music Network, and then iHeartRadio and a number of other companies became the same kind of syndication platform that it became, which brought us to not only other companies, but brought us to companies like XM and Sirius Radio Network. Yeah. But for
Professor's in the house.
Hey, Reggie.
Praise the Lord, Abe. How are you?
Man, I'm just absolutely great. But for me, the whole experience of broadcast and its related platforms, it's been just such a blessing because I measure my wealth and my blessings in a whole different kind of way than just material things and money. And that is, I've had some great relationships with people and some great blessings in life as a result of knowing those people, like the people on this, that I'm talking with today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me ask this question. Seeing where the industry has evolved from, where do you think the next evolution or the next direction it'll go in? I know you've seen a lot of changes, a lot of things that have happened since you've been involved in the business side of things and the management and the ownership side of things. Where do you think it's going to go next? What do you think is the next greatest thing?
Man, I'd be lying if I said I knew, because I have no idea.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody does. And I just recall the times when Al Newhart, who was running the Gannett Company, came up with an idea for another daily national newspaper, and everybody told him he was crazy. And one of the big things that he was excited about was that he was going to be able to via satellite shoot pictures via satellite from one part of the country to another, so those pictures could be printed on the front page in the various sections of this newspaper called USA Today. And they said, "Wow, that's incredible! Now you and I can do that every moment on our various phones, not only
Right.
this country, but I can send you, if you're in China, the same kind of not the same kind of photography. I can send you a higher quality photographic work in China that it used to take tons of work and effort to be sent by a company called Gannett that had USA Today."
Yep.
I can also
at a fraction of the cost.
a fraction of the cost and a fraction of the time. I also remember being at the Drake Hotel in Chicago one year, and the head of NBC television was saying, "This whole thing about cable television is never going to have an impact."
Wow. Wow.
And, hold on.
Yeah.
I can also remember talking to a guy who was a friend of mine, and I won't even say who said, "Abe, this Netflix thing, Netflix is never going to have an impact because." So then I can also remember a time when people were saying things like, this VHS is going to hurt the film industry. And then people said this whole DVDs are going to kill VHS and the film industry. Nobody ever thought, or not many people ever thought, that VHS or DVDs were going to be another revenue stream for the film industry. Not only was it not going to kill it, it was going to enhance it.
Enhance it. Yep.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
I was in Chicago when people said things like, "This girl Oprah Winfrey coming to Chicago, there ain't no way she's gonna make a difference because Jesse Raphael is already trashed. So is Batiste Berry. So has Rolando Watts. And if talk television had any further legs, Phil Donahue, the father of talk TV, would not be leaving it." So my point is, experts have been so wrong about so many things and so many
It's true.
that none of us can possibly know.
Yeah. I mean, and there have been technologies that didn't work so well, like AM stereo.
Absolutely, exactly.
HD right now, I wouldn't say that it's a complete failure, but I don't think it's gotten the legs that it was hoping for. So you never know. My thing has always been, be out there on the cutting edge. Don't be behind what's going on, because then you're running fast to catch up. And that's a little frustrating too, because I've done things that, cutting edge, and people are looking at me like, what is that damn fool talking about now? And so you got to keep pushing for the new horizon, because if you don't, then you'll be playing catch up, and that's not a good place to be in, especially people of color or minorities trying to have some portion of that success in the way of ownership. And Abe, you were able to accomplish something that I never did, and that was to own a radio station. It was part of my longtime dream. But when I got to the point where I had money and had a good enough understanding of it, the industry changed radically. And I'll never forget the time that I found a radio station, a medium small market. And at the time, the value was $10 million. That's what they were asking for. So I went to Bank of America looking for finance. And the guy took my call, and I sent him, the whole package and everything. He goes, you got a good, strong broadcast background, and, you're the kind of guy that we want to get behind. He says, but, $10 million is not a big enough deal for us to get excited. I said, why is that? I said, I didn't want to come to you with a 50 or $100 million deal. He goes, that would get us excited. I said, explain that to me. He says, the same amount of work it would take for us to do financing on 100 million would be the same amount of work that we would have to do on a 10 million. And it's not enough money in it for us.
Peanuts. Yeah.
See, here's the other thing we have to understand. When you get into business, as I said, I tried to learn that it was a business. Because I remember going to ABN AMRO Bank, Dutch Bank, and I ended up meeting a gentleman there, and to this day he's my friend. And I had the same kind of experience, Lee. He said, Abe, what you're talking about might be a $5 million deal. But if you came with us and you came with a deal to us, it would involve you buying a number of stations in the geographic area, say in Rockford, Springfield, Chicago, Peoria, whatever. And it ended up being a $50 million or $100 million deal. And he said, and don't forget to include a plane for yourself in it. And I said, well, that would seem a bit gregarious. And he said, no. He said, because what you have to understand is your time is valuable. And with having your own plane and your own pilot, you could visit all of the stations in your group in a day, as opposed to going from airport to airport. So I learned a lot of things and dealing with that. And so that's the other thing. But we had nobody to tell us that.
Yep, exactly.
And so then that's why I told you, even in the other areas that I got into, whether it was the television industry or the film industry, I always wanted to talk to the guys like Will and like Ron and like Michael and tell them, don't be afraid of the numbers, because to you, $100 million might be a lot of money because you haven't dealt with that. But to the bank, they don't care about 100 million. They don't care if it's $1 billion, just so the numbers make sense.
Exactly.
And that was one of the things that I had to learn. And that's why we owe it to other people that we deal with to tell them. To a bank, a $50 million deal may make more sense to them, or a $500 million deal may make more sense to them than a $2 million deal.
That's right.
They don't care.
Now, you and all the experience that you've gained over the past few years and what have you, if there was a young person, well, not necessarily a young person, but a person who was interested in media ownership, whether it's film, radio, television, or whatever, what kind of advice would you give them? I mean, you've already given some, but would you encourage them to look into ownership, or would you say, man, don't waste your time?
Yes, I would encourage them to get in ownership. But I would tell them to make sure that they understand the business that they're talking about, and it is a business at a number of levels. And don't be, and two things: don't be afraid of the numbers, and don't be afraid of the work. Because when I ended up getting my first station, after I had owned stations in other markets like Detroit and some of the others, when I ended up buying some of my stations, I couldn't get banks to even look at me in bigger markets. So I ended up taking my own money, and after leaving BMX in Chicago, applying to the FCC through the construction permit process, and I bought my first station that I owned in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So I went from market number 3 to market number 2 something with my own money, with a radio station that was a series of computers with
big reel automation.
Literally in a storage shed in the middle of a farm field that I would have to get into and go out in the cold and program. Now everybody's not willing to do that.
Right.
Then I was able to sell that one and go to South Bend and do a similar kind of thing. So you have to understand that the marketplace, the system is not going to show up well on you because you're black. And you have to be willing to face that. And whether you like it or not, it's a fact of life. And then the other thing you have to realize, and even now, is that the law is so far behind the technology that you're going to have some issues. And you also may have to understand that some of what you want may be far and above what you are able to do. So what you may want to do, if you have a couple of $1 million, or if you can raise it, or if you, is not necessarily buy a broadcast property freestanding, but you may just want to take your money, and it won't take a whole lot, but you can do on a smaller scale what Byron Allen has done. You can go buy some Gannett stock, some Tegna stock,
Yep.
some CBS stock. Now, not only when you buy that stock do you own the stock in the company, then you can have a card that says Abe Thomson, owner of Gannett, owner of CBS, owner of Paramount, owner of Disney. But you also, once you buy that stock, you legally own a right to attend the board meetings and the shareholder meetings. And at some point, you can go to a meeting, you can raise some hell. So you can say, I am Abe Thomson here at the Disney meeting, and I've noticed that in your portfolio of stations, you have one general manager of color or one female, and why is that the case? And then you can do the same thing at a Disney meeting that you did at the Gannett meeting, that you did at the Viacom meeting, that you did, but that may be the only way you'll do it. Because I've attended NABJ meetings, and I've spoken at them, just like I've spoken and done seminars at SAG-AFTRA, because I've told some of the people how to do the films. And I've been at the meetings, and people will say, well, I'm here, and I'm in Chicago, or I'm in Detroit, or I'm in Poughkeepsie, Mississippi, and I'm going to buy a radio station or TV station. And the first thing I tell them, you're a motherfucking lie.
Oh,
Not just a regular, but an MF.
yeah.
They will say,
Use a lie.
and they will say, how can you say that? And I can say, well, just looking at the numbers, most Americans, black or white, can't get $500, let alone $50 million.
Right.
So you're going to buy a radio or TV station in Detroit or Cleveland or whatever. You're probably not, because you don't have a couple of $1 million in your pocket.
Right. You got to have some skin in the game. That's the first thing the banks are going to say.
I'll say now. But if you say you want to be an owner, how do I do it? I can tell you. And I would say, go buy some stock in the company. Then you'll have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Those days of the way it used to be done, where you could petition the FCC, or what somebody in the government said, like they did Paley. When Paley bought the stations for CBS, when it became CBS Radio and Television, he was given those signals.
Right.
Many people who got the first TV and radio stations were given the signals because somebody said this is going to become this spectrum that's going to be available that you can own, but you're going to have the money to do the engineering work and the legal work. And most people didn't have that, like most of us don't. Most people don't have $100 million that they don't have the money that Musk has, or some of those, if they want to go to the moon, that they can go. So I can tell people who tell me they're going to buy TV and radio stations, because I've done it, that you lying.
Yeah.
I can call you a different kind of, I can call you a different kind of lie, because most folks are not going to want to get. I just happened at the time to have a wife who said, we've got some money, we've got some property. If we want to do this, let's try it and do it. But everybody,
leverage your own assets.
But everybody doesn't have that. So even now, what I'll tell young people is, if you can do something on the internet, try to do it. But like you look at what's the guy who runs Facebook and owns Facebook? What's
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg. He's stumbling on this thing. But even now, if you listen to, do you all know who Roger McNamee is?
No.
Okay. Roger is the guy who, and the only reason I know Roger or met Roger is because we have a mutual friend. But Roger was one of the first and original investors in both Facebook and Google.
Wow.
And Roger felt a great deal of guilt when Google and Facebook started doing some things to really mess with some of our privacy rights. And he started going on this mission to correct some of that. But the reason I met Roger is because a friend of mine named Clarence B. Jones.
Oh,
Do y'all know Clarence B. Jones?
I've heard of him.
Clarence was one of the first black investment bankers on Wall Street.
Yeah.
And I also believe Clarence mentored Jamie Dimon.
Wow.
And in New York City, the city of New York, there's both a street and a library named after Clarence B. Jones. But even more significantly, Clarence B. Jones helped Dr. King write the I Have a Dream speech and the letter from the Birmingham jail. And in addition to that, when Dr. King and the protesters got arrested, Clarence would meet with the Rockefellers in New York, get the money to bail them out. Now, I know of Clarence because Clarence is like my family. So through Clarence, I met a great number of people. And because of my experiences and knowing people like Clarence, I know some of the stuff that people can and cannot do and will not do. But I tell everybody, whatever you want to do, learn it as a business. I told Will Packer that. I told Michael Swanson and his wife Christine that. Learn it as a business. And when people throw stuff at you, don't get mad at them. Figure out a way to deal with it and overcome it. And nobody.
Let me say this, and I apologize for interrupting. One of the things, Abe, that a lot of people don't understand in running a business, it's actually saying no more than it is saying yes to a lot of things.
Oh, absolutely.
We all get egos and think, I'll own a radio station and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And one of the things from working with several general managers, being the program director, even on the air, just being somewhere in the radio station, I've been in sales as well, is that the most successful general managers in the business are the ones who don't spend any money.
Right.
The ones who know how to say no.
Right. Right.
If the building was on fire and they said, and then you tell the general manager, you said, well, how much does it cost to call the fire department?
That's right.
Boss, we out of toilet paper. Let them wipe with their hands.
That's right.
And there's a mystique about that whole thing that sometimes is overlooked when you talk about getting in a business because you love it. And we're talking about radio right now. And you think, well, I had a business and everybody will know that I own the radio station. And I think that ego and pride has kept a lot, especially of African Americans, out of the business.
Well, that and the fact that we don't know enough about it as a business.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't know.
And don't have the relationships or the access to the funds necessary to get started. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars chasing deals and never got one.
And then the system does things, in my opinion, like you set up things like Nabob, for example. And Nabob brings up brothers who I say want to have parties. They call me, hey, you want to go and we're going to have a couple parties at St. Martin. And I'm like, why do I need to go to St. Martin? And hey, if I want to bring your wife because the women are going to be there. I said, and listen, I don't need to go someplace to chase women if I'm
right. That's right.
No, you're speaking the truth.
Or what was the other one? That was supposed to help black folks buy stations. Not Nabob.
Yeah, the group out of DC.
Yeah, it was Ken Harris and
yeah.
But anyway,
I'm talking about the minority media telecommunication.
See, which was a scam. Or the tax certificate. The tax certificate was a thing. It was a tax break for white men.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
That's
That's
what it was.
The only way we can get in. I mean, you give them a break.
Because just like now. So if Abe Thomson was white and was going to sell the station to Lee Michaels, who was black, and the station was worth $10 million, in theory, if Abe sold it to Lee, and Abe bought the station for $2, I bought it for $3. It was worth $10. Abe would then have a $7 million capital gain. So
Right.
if he sold it to Lee, he'd have to pay 33% on that $7 million. So he'd have to pay $2 or $3 million in capital gains tax. But if Abe, the white guy, sold it to Lee, the black guy, they would say, Abe, well, you won't have to pay capital gains tax. So what Abe would do, he say, my station is worth
$15 million.
Right.
It's worth 15. And Lee, I'm going to sell it to you. I'm going to sell it to you for 15, and I'm going to take back a note for 6. So we'll go to the bank. Say, I took back a note, and I'll take a second position to the bank, and the bank will loan you the money, and then I won't pay any capital gains tax. I'll get all the money. Then when Lee defaults on the money because he ain't making enough money to handle the note, and the
Because you overpaid. It was a bad deal.
That's where the rubber meets the road.
The white guy would go to his banker friend, the white guy, Mike Love, and say, Mike, let's help this black guy out that I helped out. And Mike would say, okay, we'll take the money. So then they would end up with the money he got and his station back. And Mike would end up syndicating the deal. And not everybody didn't understand that. And everybody would say, that Abe Thomson was a great guy. He tried.
Yeah, he sure is a great guy.
And then he took the station back and he helped him. What a great guy, by golly fucking Abe.
Yeah. Hey.
So it was all of those. It was all these facades.
Yeah,
those deals. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, but let Professor jump in there because I think he's been trying to get in.
No, I'm good. I'm listening right now. I'm gonna get
that was
fired.
Ron that was trying to had a question.
Okay.
Yeah. Now looking at what Byron Allen has been doing, you mentioned his name earlier, and he's been running around beating up on corporate America. His latest endeavor has been the McDonald's Corporation. He's been jumping on them, calling them a bunch of racists, and they won't do business with black broadcasting stations. And I know he did that with General Motors and a few of the other corporate Fortune 500 corporations. Do you think that his endeavors will help him in the long run or hurt him in the long run?
Well, let me say this. Jesse Jackson can't do that no more. Chloe Marshall can't do that no more.
That's right.
Chloe Marshall used to call up the people at ABC and say, listen, your license is coming up for renewal. All I got is file a petition to deny. And the guy would say, whoa. Now, you know, I got 35 TV stations, 75 radio stations, and I got a couple of whatever shortwave radio stations. He said, well, you know, employee said, well, what do you think you should do? He said, well, maybe I could sell them to some black folks. So the point is, if you don't make people do shit, they're not going to do it.
Absolutely. Amen. Absolutely.
But that only works when you have the financial resources. Yes, and now that the banks, I mean, okay, let me ask you this. I pulled up something here a few minutes ago. So I'm looking.
Byron needs to continue to push because that's the only way.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I think he'll be successful.
Here's a Los Angeles property listed with a broker. That's the number 2 market. Mm-hmm. It's an AM station, has 2 FM translators, upgrade 10,000 watts or 50,000 watts pending FCC approval. Right now it's a ethnic time broker, but you can buy this station and all that I just mentioned for $2.5 million. Now, Abe, would you go after that?
No.
Tell the audience why.
Well, let me tell you this. You all know what's the guy who's the head of Sirius XM?
What's the guy's?
What's his name? He used to have Infinity Radio.
Right, I know you're talking about. Right.
The Viacom.
Malone, not Malone.
Malone was
Malone just
out of BET with Bob Johnson or Bob Johnson with Malone.
Right.
But anyway,
I can't remember his name. I know you're talking about.
I can't think of his name. I can see it, but I just can't think of his name.
They said Carmazan.
Mel Carmazan.
Mel Carmazan. Yeah.
Mel Carmazan owned the FM radio station in LA years ago. Sold it to Alfred and Kathy for $420 million.
Right.
And then he tricked them on some things because he changed. He did.
He did. He gave them a lesser frequency, but the call letters that they wanted.
But here's the thing. but they have public money. They were crazy with all the business out they raised. So, but 8 or 9 years later, Kathy had to end up selling the station for $138 million. Now,
that's right.
Now, a lot of folks in the black media said, "My God, they sold this station for $138 million." But they lost because they bought it for $420.
It was one of the worst losses
of all time.
It
was probably the worst. But my point is, they were excited about LA. So I don't think the numbers will carry it now for broadcast, because whatever you can do with those properties, you'll be able to do on other platforms.
But the thing of it is, Abe, let me jump in and say this. For some reason, they thought that the intellectual property, and this wasn't the first time that this deal had been pulled. This deal was pulled in Indianapolis as well with WTLC.
Oh, absolutely.
Not
Mays. What was the guy's name? But yeah, and then, see, my point is, if you don't understand the numbers and what you're doing, whether it's the deal you're talking about now or that deal, you're gonna get jammed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what you have to get away from is the thinking you have the prestige of whatever.
Right.
So who cares?
Yeah. Right. The whole idea was they felt they had to be in LA.
Exactly.
Okay, because that was the number 2 market, and they really wanted to be in New York, LA, Chicago, and be in the top 3.
And they had gone after Stevie several times, and Stevie had turned them down.
Yeah, and the numbers just didn't work at the multiples that they were trying to buy at. I told them at that time, because I was working for the company, I said, "Man, don't do it. It's a bad deal.
But here's the thing:
it ain't gonna work."
Look at the multiples of cash flow stations being bought for, and it's happening now in the tech business. And radio stations itself 5 times cash flow. Mm-hmm. They started going for 10 times cash flow. Then they started going for 20 times projected cash flow.
Projected, yeah. That's when you just cut your throat at that point. It ain't gonna happen.
You come to me with projected cash flow, and I say, my projected cash flow is going to be $50 million, and I have $20 million in trade, and you wouldn't care. And then so 20 times projected cash flow, that's billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Now you look at somebody like me. I was at GCI when the people who bought it, who wanted to buy the AM station, had to buy the FM. They were forced to buy what became GCI FM for $250,000. Then eventually GCI became worth $210 million. So people started looking at those things. Now, in the tech business, do you know that there are some tech companies that are being sold for as much as 100 times revenue?
That's sick.
So not cash flow. So if my station
gross revenue,
if my company as a tech company is doing $3 million, 100 times revenue is $300 million.
Exactly.
Right.
But the potential is a little bit different, guys.
Don't matter. My point is the numbers, and they are now, and that's the same argument many people used to make about radio stations. In fact, I had owners tell me, "Abe, listen, if I had a choice between going in the dope business and radio, and not both legal, I'd go into radio because it's better than printing. It's a license to make money, and it's a license to print money. Better than selling dope."
Oh, absolutely. And I agree with you 150%. But that deal in Los Angeles was the stupidest thing I'd ever heard. And they're probably monitoring us, and I don't even really care.
But the point is, many people do it because whenever, here's the deal. Whenever you spend your money, you look at the situation a lot different than it's when you spend my money.
That's correct.
If we put together a company and we call it SNN Media, and we go and do a public offering, and we raise $3 billion.
Right, IPO.
Some of us are going to say $3 billion. Some of us are going to say, "Man, let's go and buy this company," and some of us are going to say no because it'll be stupid to pay for it. And two of us are going to say, "But the potential." So those who believe in the potential are going to say, "No, we can pay $500 million for it because we still got $1.5 billion left."
Yeah.
That's what
no homework was being done, Abe, in that situation.
No. No listening was being done.
No listening, anything, right? Because that station, as it stands today, at 92.3, can be heard in 16 counties in California.
Right.
Okay, but when you took the intellectual property and downsize that, you downsize the listener and revenue potential.
Yeah, you didn't have that footprint anymore.
You didn't have the footprint.
You listen. I know the deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the point that got me.
Let me tell you something. I heard Reagan Henry and Mel Collins say at a meeting. I hate them say, I buy my properties based on the bigger fool theory. I may be a fool for buying it at this price, but there will always be a bigger fool.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I mean, and that's and respectfully, because like I said, they could be watching us, and I mean, this is just, we're just looking at it from a business aspect. When you turn around, and that whole thing was going around, this intellectual property thing, and they just kept throwing it around. Because like I said, it happened at TLC, it happened out there, and I'm just saying, how are you coming up with this where you're selling at $450 and you have to get rid of it at $150? Now, just look, last week, John Malone purchased, I forgot the percentage, but it was $600 million of stock in iHeart. Okay. He bought it for $490 million. Okay. Now he just sold it for $150.
150 million.
150 million. But if he
this is the company that bankrupt a couple of years ago, and flushed $21 billion or something like that.
Exactly.
Why would you see? To me, and maybe I'm looking at things upside down, but I would never invest that kind of money in a company that just flushed the toilet and hurt a lot of investors, banks, as well as individuals.
But see, that happened before then, because now, Lee, you're absolutely correct. But see, what happened when the $600, the deal was he's getting $600 million worth of stock for $490. Okay. Now he's merging iHeart with Sirius XM, which is going to give him the conglomerate of all time. Because not only is he going to have the intellect, not only is he going to have terrestrial, but he's going to have streaming. So that makes him the ultimate king.
Monopoly.
Monopoly. But what you also have to understand is John Malone, who is called the father of cable, understood things before they happened. And see, John Malone probably is really the person who made the decision that BET was going to be sold.
Absolutely.
Some of the red song. And remember now John Malone got the money to do that, because he got $3 billion out of the BT deal.
But hold on, now don't lose your thought, Abe. But he got that because he was able to put BET in the first tier of cable.
Oh, absolutely.
Which guaranteed anywhere cable was being put in the United States, you were going to get BET. Finish your statement.
But he was able to guarantee that because he had a piece and an interest in every.
He had a piece of it.
So that's what he's kind of thinking about this deal that he's just done. But again, you have to have the bandwidth and the money to do that and take the risk. Because here's the other thing for somebody like him, even if it doesn't work out, he's got some tax way it won't be as big of a hurt.
Of course.
So the point is, but none of us, well, I don't know anybody who has that kind of bandwidth.
No, you can stick with none of us.
None.
Hey, Lee, pop up that comment by Wisdom Popcorn Harris. I think that's a good one because he's putting something out there. There you go. No one listening to shortwave radio. It's time to reinvent broadcasting for our people. It's enough of you on this panel, including me, to launch an amazing broadcasting business that for us, by us.
Well, hold on. Let me see.
Go ahead, Abe.
Yeah, I'm going to let Abe handle that one because I'm like, no, it's not. Go ahead, Abe.
Let me say this. Maybe it is, but none of us know. Because that's a feeling. That's a feeling. And we can't do things based on feeling. Now, let me ask you this, and I've done it. Let's say the brother is right. How many of us are willing to put our money. Well, we do enough money, and like I did, I literally left Chicago. I would be in Kalamazoo, Michigan, 3 days a week, and literally staying in a flea bag hotel. Had a wife who I loved sleeping with, who I wasn't sleeping with 3 days a week, with my own money, in my Jaguar clothes and suede shoes, custom made suits. And I went from sitting in a desk to selling shit on the street again.
Mm-hmm.
So you can talk about doing stuff with a feeling, but how much sweat, blood, and money, besides money, so we people, and when you talk about it, maybe we can lost an amazing business, and I wouldn't doubt that we could. But how many of us are willing to do the work and
the sweat equity,
and put in the money and everything? And I'll tell you right now, I ain't, because listen, November 22nd, I'll be 70. And I'll just be honest with you. I'm happy to be in my house. I'm happy to be in my condo. I'm happy to either get in my Corniche, my convertible Rolls.
Amen.
And so I don't know if I'm willing to do that now, because I've done it. And I know I've talked to people about doing stuff, and people will say, yeah, but when you talk about the sweat and the work, they say, well, I thought, but I didn't know. Now, so let's not deal with. So when I deal with business propositions now, I don't deal with what I think. I deal with what I know.
Boom.
I deal with what I know and the numbers and the paperwork.
The numbers don't lie.
Not on what you think or feel, how much you think the world or the white man or the industry has hurt us. No, because I've been doing it.
Ain't got nothing to do with it. And that's why I said that case with John Malone was kind of unique, because it was one of the few cases where if he put iHeart and Sirius XM together, it was over.
Right.
I mean, but the part where he got caught up is when iHeart scrubbed him with the $24 billion restructuring bankruptcy deal.
Right.
Scrub. That means that anything that is owed to you is gone.
And now, many of y'all don't know. You all know Bob Pittman started off in Chicago at MAQ.
That's right.
Bob Pittman was the guy who came with the idea of commercial-free radio. And people say, well, that was ingenious. No, it wasn't ingenious. He had no advertisers.
Right.
So let's take it to Lemon, then eliminate it.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to tell everybody we're commercial-free. So Steve, who ran Time Warner, Steve Ross. Steve Ross said, this young guy in Chicago he's saying something, and he said, I got an idea about music television. I should get him. Bob Pittman wasn't a genius,
right?
And and Steve Ross said, I want to bring you over here for music television, MTV, and I'm going to give you some stock, and and everything grew.
And that happened about 2 years after I approached Warner Brothers, ABC, Motown, all the major record labels with this idea, which was MTV. It wasn't called MTV because there was no cable at that time to deliver it.
Right.
So Bob Pittman came in about 2 years after. I had already talked to Steve and a bunch of other chairmen and presidents of these record labels and broadcast entities. They all told me I was crazy. It would never work. Nobody's going to sit in front of a TV and watch the same videos over and over again.
No.
Okay. Hey, they told me I was crazy. It would never work. 2 years later, Bob Pittman with one eye. He had a handicap.
Right.
He saw it, but he came at the right time. Because in Chicago at that time, it was set-top boxes. They didn't even have cable.
That's right. That's exactly right. And Lee, and I remember that, but here's the deal. You couldn't have known what you were talking about, Lee. You know why? Because you were black. And I mean, I'm just gonna
exactly.
I agree.
No, that's true.
That's what it was.
He said he couldn't have known what he was talking about.
Don't you know that's the philosophy? There's no way you would know that.
So when we talk about what we can do and want to do, like the brother, and I commend him. Maybe we can, but don't come to me and say, we can do this, and because I feel it, my brother, and we're strong, my brother. Now if you come in and say, here are the numbers. Here's what's here, and they say, okay, maybe that makes sense. Otherwise, we're gonna just end up having strong discussions and talking about our blackness and nothing gonna happen. And see, I've been doing that.
That's real talk.
No, it's for real. And here's something, and I'll tell you this. And because you are an expert or something, and I tell people every day, I tell my students that I teach, I said, don't listen to experts. Experts don't. I said, including a guy named Abe Thomson. Because when I was running GCI and Barry Mayo said, hey, we're gonna stop playing rap music and hip hop. I said, Barry, ain't nobody gonna listen to that shit. It ain't nobody gonna listen to it. And I'll let me tell you, the expert Abe Thomson was right. I was right. Hip hop was not going to be a music that people were going to listen to. It became a goddamn culture that everybody adapted, which to this day makes Abe Thomson the expert. So when you listen to him, don't listen to him.
Yep.
Because every expert will tell you cannot be an expert on the future. You're going to be an expert on the past.
Yeah,
that's right. Absolutely.
That's right.
You know, one of the things, Abe, that I tell people all the time, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I don't have to be.
That's
you
right.
know what you know, what you know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
And that's where experience comes in. And that's why, you know, Lee invited you to have a conversation with us on the show. Because
let me tell you, when Barry told me that, I had two friends that I went and talked to. One was named Quincy Jones. And one was named Tom Burrell. And so I said, Q. I said, man, we were somewhere talking. Well, yeah, the Brothers Johnson and shit in town, I think it was. And I said, Q, man, what you think about this hip hop? And I asked Tom Burrell the same thing, independent of one another. Q said, hey, I love all music. He said, ain't about 12 notes in music. He said, all music. I said, what? He said, hip-hop, bebop, it's all the same. He said, all music is the same. Now, so I asked Tom. Tom said, hey, he said, it's all music, whether it's you call it hip-hop, rap, whatever. He said, jazz was gutter music. Now, if you listen to jazz, he said Beethoven in his time would have been considered a gangster rapper. Now these are men. So after talking to Tom Burrell, Quincy Jones, what I realized, this guy Abe Thomson that I knew, he really know a whole bunch of shit that he's talking about when it came to music, because he talked to Quincy Jones, and I realized they were right. All music is the same, whether it's jazz, blues, and right now, well, today I attended the Lawyers for the Creative Arts lunch. They had the Lawyers for the Creative Arts. This is a pro bono organization of lawyers that does free legal work for people in the arts. But the point is, and mostly blues arts, you go to a blues concert. What's rock? What is rock? And I learned that when I ran the rock station. Eric Clapton, the Beatles, those guys took their music from Jimmy Johnson, from BBC, so my point is, all of it's the same. All of it's the same. So my point is, that's what we have to come to understand. That we don't. So once Abe starts thinking he knows all the shit, that's why I'll tell you in a minute. I don't know a damn thing about computers and don't care. Because it don't matter if I do or not. Because tomorrow the whole shit's gonna change.
Yeah, that's true. Constantly.
Absolutely.
None of y'all gonna know. And by next month. So my point is, you have to be open. And when you talk about things, you have to talk about it from a business, a numbers, and an analytical point. Not about how I feel. Not about what I think.
Boy, you preaching right now.
Yeah.
You need a collar. You preaching.
Look. Hey, Wisdom Popcorn ain't giving up off of you, man. He put another comment up here, bro.
No, but I'm glad. I'm glad because I'm not saying I'm Wisdom, listen to me, man. Don't listen to me. I'm telling you.
He said, all we need you to, Abe, is to mentor the next generation.
Hold on, let me say this in Popcorn. You're right, and I have. Will Packer, Mike Swanson. And I'll tell you this, there are at least 70, not radio, but at least 70 young people I've got in the film industry, cameramen, carpenters, and I've not only got them in and got them jobs, I've gotten their initiation fees to get in the union paid. So you're right. I got people, I got students I mentored. So if that's all you need from me, you got that. You got that.
So what else you need?
Yeah, so hold on. Not only that, but I'll also give you some more advice. If you got $1, like I told Walker Flocka, go don't buy no damn gym shoes, Walker, and then put them on. Buy you some stock in them goddamn companies whose shoes you wear. And
right.
Yeah, so Walker sent me a note saying, "God damn, Abe, I bought some stock in the company. They sent me gym shoes just like you said." So I'll give you some advice. Buy some stock in some companies. So not only can not only will I mentor you, I'll give you the advice. So any company you may be interested in, any radio station company, any shoe company, any newspaper, buy some stock in it. Then you go popcorn, and then you raise some hell.
Amen.
That's right. But don't take your rent money to go buy that stock because
take your rent money. No, take your rent money because one day
you'll learn from that.
Because if you take your rent money, you got skin in the game, and you will go to the board meetings.
Yeah. Well, you better do your homework first because the stock market goes up and down, and if you're looking for the short-term gain, it don't always come that way.
If you're going to buy a drink, if you're going to buy some reefer, if you're going to buy popcorn, you're going to buy a lot of it. Buy half of it, then buy a share of stock in the company. I ain't saying you got to buy a lot of the stock. One share makes you a shareholder and gives you a voice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hold on, popcorn. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know.
No, you're telling the truth.
No, you telling me what you think, popcorn. I'm telling you what I know, and I've already.
See, one of the things, and I know this about you, Abe, because I've seen you do it, and I know everything that you've said is real. And one of the things that I've always tried to do, and I've said it before on the show, life is a relay race. And if you've got the baton in your hand and you're running hard and you're in front of everybody else, or maybe you're not, but there's somebody that you're supposed to hand that baton to.
All right.
And if you don't hand it, guess what? You drop the baton or you keep running and pass the guy you're supposed to give it to. What about him? You didn't let him do his job, and you didn't help him. You passed him by. You overlooked him. So I always say, find someone who has a passion for whatever it is, whether it's radio or shining shoes. It doesn't matter. If they have the passion for it, then reach out and help them. Encourage them. Mentor that person.
Popcorn's still on. I'll tell you this, Popcorn. I'll show you. I ain't bullshitting. My phone number is 312-805-4514.
There you go.
312-805-4514. You can call me. I don't owe nobody no money. I ain't running from nobody. And not only I will talk to you. I'll give you some advice if you're serious.
Right. That's the key.
Yeah,
that's my
if
point.
You're serious.
Yeah. Don't call just a dog jack.
I will tell y'all, he may not answer the phone right away, but he will call you back.
I'll tell you this, and I ain't gonna be nice. And if you bullshitting, I'm gonna tell you because my time is valuable, and I ain't got a lot of time to waste.
That's right.
But if you serious, I'm more than happy to help you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's what we all have to do. You have to help someone.
Lee, I've done it, and I continue to do it. I said, I can tell you people specifically in radio and the film business who I've helped, and it ain't no lie. They'll tell you.
Popcorn wants you to hit that number one more time, Abe.
312-805-4514.
And don't call just to chit chat.
Yeah, we
You call them for some knowledge, some help, some wisdom, somebody to mentor you, then call. Otherwise, Pasadena.
And I'm not
waste his time.
We don't need to debate because you can't debate with me because anything I tell you about, I know. It ain't a debate. If you want some help,
that's right.
Reggie tell you.
John Henry Clark said, I only debate with my peers. others I teach.
That's right.
Boom.
That's
I mean, Dr. John Henry Clark.
That's right.
Ah,
So the things that you've talked about, Abe, tonight is so real and near and dear to my heart because most of it I've already experienced myself. I've mentored hundreds and hundreds of people all over the country. You know, some of the people, you know, well, at least one, I'm mentoring Dr. Ron now, but he's hard headed. He don't want to listen.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord, why you gotta call my name?
I had some impact on Mike Love early on when he was a young rascal in St. Louis, Missouri.
Thank you.
Reggie and I never worked together. He always said, "Lee, you never gave me a job." Well,
Right.
not that I didn't want to. It's just, you know, what was available or not available at that time. He went out on me on that one.
Everybody laughed. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's hundreds of people that I've had the pleasure and the fortune to work with. And if I've helped anybody, I mean, Doug Banks, we talked about him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I hired Doug in St. Louis and hired him twice in Chicago. Why? Because I recognize his talent. He was a rambunctious, wild, crazy guy when he was young. He mellowed out, you know, over the years. But I recognized and respected his talent.
Mm-hmm.
So I was willing to make the investment of my time to coach that young man who went on to be a greater talent.
Oh my God.
Not just because of what I was telling him to do, but because he was a good student. He had the passion and love for broadcasting, and he was a character. He understood how to work that microphone. Not very many people could pimp that mic better than a Doug Banks.
Let me tell a Doug Banks story. Doug, you know, I had never seen this done before. You're listening to the radio and you hear someone talking to another person, and Doug created a character that he talked to on a reel-to-reel.
That's right.
And he was both people.
Did you see him do it?
I saw him do it. That was the part that was mind blowing.
It was.
And remember the parts when he's supposed to talk.
Exactly.
Like,
the timing was perfect. It was unbelievable.
The timing was impeccable.
It was.
He was talking to himself after he recorded himself
in character.
Right, in character.
Yep. I know. He was a master.
You know something else about Doug, and this is for everybody who's listening. When you have people and you know people who care for you, always stay in touch with those people. Yeah. And I say that because of Doug, because Doug and Wendy were divorced, and also listen to him, because I think if Doug had listened to Wendy more, even though they were divorced, he'd still be alive. Because when Doug was in Chicago that summer, that April, I think it was, when he left, I said, Doug, your hands are swollen, man, and you don't look good. I said, so when you get home, he's going back to Miami. I said, make sure you call Wendy before and make sure. And they were divorced, but he had enough sense to know that she cared about him and that they stayed in touch. But he didn't have enough sense to listen to him.
Yeah.
And she said, call me as soon as you get land in Miami, and he did. So she called him, and she had someone the driver go to the house, and he couldn't get in. She said, break the back door down. And that's when they found Doug. So Doug had enough sense to stay in touch with people who cared about him, regardless of how the relationship may have developed. But he didn't have enough sense to listen to people who loved him.
Yeah.
Hey, now I'm gonna put another nugget on that story that you're telling about him and Wendy. And you know, I love my ex-wife, and she loves me. And sometimes, you know, you just can't find that place where you can just come together all the time just to spend the rest of the time together, but you know how you feel about this person. When Doug first started getting sick, he went to Wendy's house, and Wendy was the one that noticed, you know, because he used to always wear them sweatsuits.
Right.
And the sweatsuit pants were sticking to his leg.
Mm-hmm.
And Wendy said, "What's going on with you that your pants are sticking to your legs?" And his body was dispersing water at the level that his pants were just sticking to his leg. And then she was the one that said, you better go get some help and go to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he started finding out that he was sicker than he thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so thank God that, you know, love surpassed maybe a relationship that they couldn't maintain. And I'm glad you told that story, because a lot of times people need, you know, sometimes we don't always, especially in radio has put a lot of people in this business. It displaced us from our families and our friends and that kind of stuff. And so we don't go back and realize that these people cared about us and wanted a better life for us. But this is an ego-driven business.
Yeah.
And you got, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I happen. Well, let me just jump in. You know, my wife, she's coming in the house, so I had to go see about her. But when Lee was speaking, I just wanted to tell the story of how I met Abe. Okay, Abe and I attend the same church. We attended the same church in Chicago. Now, I had heard stories about him, but I never had met him. It was when I was in Washington, D.C., and Abe was a guest of Kathy Hughes. That I walked up to him and I said, "Well, praise the Lord." He said, "Well, praise the Lord back." And we had lunch. We went out and went to lunch on Georgia Avenue. And Abe asked me to mentor a young man that he was close to. And so I did that because he wanted to come to Howard. And I forgot all the stories, but that's how I met Abe, and that's how we became close to one another. It was just through a chance. He was speaking at Howard University. Kathy had him come up there to speak, and so I was teaching there at the time, and I came in there, and it was just, we just developed that relationship. But we were in the church, and I had never seen him because I'm in the audio ministry and TV ministry myself, and it was very rare that only time I would come into the service was like during Bible class, but most of the time I was in the engineering and the sound room.
But Reggie, you know the reason I do that is because I realize, and I'm going to mean this, I really realize that everybody is valuable. Mm-hmm. And Kathy will tell you, when she was living in the car and trying to get a radio station, she'll tell you one person told her she could do it, me. And I believed it. Oprah will tell you when she came here, she was trying to get people to appear on her show. Nobody would go on her show. I talked to Walter Payton and Rebe Sori. They both agreed to be on her show, guests on her show. Walter didn't because he had to go out of town, but Rebe Sori did. And even when she auditioned for The Color Purple, I had nothing to do with getting a part, even though she thinks I did because my buddy Reuben Cannon was the casting for it. But the point is, I think there's some value in encouraging people.
Amen. So,
well, you're a great networker and always have been. I remember you introducing me to people in Chicago.
Like I said, Will Packer. I tried to get Oprah to meet Will. Oprah was big and Will wasn't. Now Oprah calls me and asks me, "Hey, you think you can get in touch with Will for me?" I said, "Well, maybe." But the point is, I really and sincerely believe that everybody's valuable. And you don't know, and that's why you don't disregard anybody. Because that may be the person
that's true.
One day, and you may be looking saying, "Oh, I didn't know that was," because that's happened a lot. But everybody, so, and the reward in doing that with Reggie is that I know Reggie Miles. So the reward in doing that with Kathy is I know Kathy Hughes. Oprah's I know Oprah Winfrey. Will is I know Will Packer. You know, so I tell y'all that. So if if when the Oscars are on next year and they say presenting the award for Abe Thompson, you know what I'm saying? How the hell did he get?
Because he knows somebody.
No, it's going to be because it's well deserved.
Oh,
You
yeah,
earned it.
definitely.
You earned it.
Definitely.
You know,
Well,
through the relationships and hard work, and you've mastered the craft. I mean, that's it.
That's
I
what
ain't
we
gonna cheapen
call
that no way.
God-driven purpose.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? When God is driving you to do things and he puts that purpose in you, most of the time we can't identify it.
Yep.
And that's a good thing because it would turn into an ego.
That's right.
And the thing of it is you can just tell, I've never met Abe before, but he's not ego driven by any of this. Anything that he talks about, any of these stories that he's telling, these are things that he's making accountable, not to us, but back to God. Because God gave him the assignment. God gave him the vision to see this person.
Right, that's true. And I understand everything is the grace of God. The grace of God. Because listen, I'll tell you, I ain't that smart. Now I'll work, but I ain't that smart. Hey Doc, and Lee already know that because they've been working with this computer. So I ain't that smart. But I'll work.
We fixed the sound by now. It took about 30 minutes, but it sounds fantastic, right?
Yeah, and and I can echo what everybody is saying about Abe. When Abe and I met, and I can't even remember how, but when we finally met, it was never no drawback, no hesitation. I said, "Hey, Abe, can I interview you on my show?" He said, "Sure." He came to this little room behind the laundry room, and everything looked all, 1950-ish. And he came in there, man, and we had a great time, And then we have communicated over the year. And it's been about 10 years or so. We stay in touch. I call him up. He'll take my call. I say, "Hello, how you doing?" I check on him, and I'll tell an old person joke, but it's all in love. And he know I love him and I appreciate him. And I know his legend. I know his legacy. And none of that bothers me. I still call him up and say, "What's up?" And if he don't answer the phone, he'll call me back. But he know I'm not calling on no BS. He know I'm not calling to drag his spirit down or to, "Hey, look, man, I got this set of hubcaps. I'm gonna need to sell you, man. I think they'll fit on your Rolls Royce real good." He know I'm not calling with that type of foolishness.
But I gotta tell you, so 1 year, it was 2 years ago, I was getting an award, I think from Porsche or something. And so this big brother, this tall brother, long braids, starts talking to me. He said, "Man, I'm so glad to meet you." And so I said, "Oh, man, good." So we talking and we get joking and we end up hugging. So one of the kids run over to me and said, "Oh man, you know him?" I was like, "No." And I said, "No." I said, "No, I don't know him." And he thinks he knew me, but I didn't know to tell him. I wasn't who he thought I was. And then I found out later, I was who he thought. He thought I was Abe Thompson. I thought he thought I was somebody else.
Right.
Because he told me to hear me talking. He looks for him. It was Waka Flocka. I think that's his name. The rapper out. And so, as I told you, I told him he had heard me talk about if you want to own stuff, buy stock in it if you can't afford to buy it. And so he ended up buying stock in some of the shoe companies, and they sent him shoes, like I said. But my point is, the other thing is you never know who's listening to you.
That's right.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I'm always
you meet the same people going up the ladder as well as coming down the ladder too.
And sometimes the people that ask you kid going up, you got a kids coming down.
Man, look. Hey, you remember? I don't know if you remember this conversation you and I had, man, long time ago, over 10 years ago, when the lady had the rights to the movie, the Mahalia Jackson story.
Oh yeah, Ruth Hadley.
Yeah, she was shopping that movie all over the country, trying to get that movie to go. And I don't think it's still gone nowhere to this day. Yeah, but she James, I think White, was it James White? What was his
James White was part of she had tried to get Bill Duke involved. But
right.
That's the way. But she tried she was a Mahalia Jackson fanatic.
Yes.
But it's a
And
Mahalia Jackson story out, so she's not the one that put it out.
no, not her story. She had a different story. Yeah, she had the rights to one of the stories.
Okay.
Yeah, but the one she had the rights to never did go.
Another thing what people don't realize is that to do it like Aretha, or to do it, you don't really need the approval of anybody once but most folks try to do it the right way and do what's right, morally right, and get the approval of the family or the next of kin. But Ruth she literally have been trying to get this story done for decades.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even know Ruth
And in shopping it around, you talk to the wrong person and they will take your idea and embellish it or change it a little bit.
Change it around, yeah.
That might be why this other Mahalia Jackson story is out there. You never know.
There's also who has the money. Because see, people say, again, you do the numbers. Somebody says, let's do the Mahalia Jackson story. And you say, well, how much is it going to cost to do it? And somebody says, well, it costs 15, I'm just using the number, 15 million to produce it. You say, okay, so how do we get the money back?
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody loved Mahalia. No. Now, if you can tell me Mahalia Jackson sold 50 million records in the South and 100 million, you say, okay, well, we know. And then there's a book written about her that sold. Then you can say it. But if you start talking about what I feel and what I like, and the Lord put it on my heart, people say, okay. See, because when people tell you that, people say, well, the Lord put it on my heart. And you say, well, okay. Do you really believe that? Yes, I do. Okay. So do you own a house? Yeah. How much you think your house worth? Well, I think I can get $300,000 worth. Go sell your house, put it in the bank. So now you can tell somebody, I sold my house. Now people really believe you when you say the Lord.
Right.
Because you believe in it.
Truly, you're willing to take the chance.
When did Ruth pass away, Abe?
Ruth passed away. I'm just trying to think. I talked to Barbara. It's somewhere between 2 and 3 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I never did hear. I used to talk to her on and off every now and then because she tried to do a tour with that at one time. She had a musical thing going on.
She also had the lady who took over her online paper, Real 360.
Right.
Barbara. She took it over. She's doing it. Okay. But as I said, I got involved in the film business as it's always been. Well, here's how. Like when I first got into business, I thought newspaper, television, radio, all of them were the same. And then when I would meet people at these events, and they were doing well, and I was working for the Ryerson Steel Corporation, which incidentally now is a film studio, Center Space Film Studio, and because my brothers had a little band, and I was taking them around. I called myself being their manager, and I was making in '72. I was making 11 grand a year. That was a whole lot of money.
Yep,
that was real money.
It was.
All of this, and I met people in the radio, newspaper who were making like 19,000, and I thought they got paid to party. And so I decided that's how I ended up getting in radio. I went around and interviewed every record company, newspaper, radio station, television station in Chicago. And after the fourth go round, somebody hired me. And they just happened to get me off of. That's how I got in radio. But then I know everybody.
You know what's really incredible about you is when your name becomes synonymous in a business, that people connect the dots and don't even know you. That's a hell of a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When people say your name, they don't go who. They say, oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I've never met anyone or heard your name in a circle, and I've been in broadcasting for 45 years, and somebody said, who? And I never met you.
And that I really don't understand because my son, well, I got to tell y'all this. So yesterday, I have a nephew who coached, well, I call him my nephew. His name is Kamal Murray. He owns Excess Tennis Club. And Will Smith was at his tennis club here in Chicago yesterday to promote his movie about Richard Williams, Venus and Serena's father. Because Venus has played there at the club 5 or 6 times. And so my son and I went over there. We were talking, and so my son said somebody walked up to me like they did, and they were talking. And I said, my son's name is Phoenix. I said, Phoenix. She thinks I'm connected with Will Smith. He said, no, Dad. She knows who you are. I said, no, she doesn't. So it turns out the young lady did. So when people tell me things like what you said, I my son is told me, I'm like, they don't know. They think I'm somebody else. But it's nice and it's encouraging.
Isn't that a great feeling when somebody knows who you are? Because that means that you put in the time and the energy, not because it's an ego or to be Abe Thomson, but it's to do the job. You know, and that's what takes us back to that whole thing about the purpose driven.
Yeah. And see, the thing is, Abe was good at what he did.
Yes.
And he's still good at what he's doing. And see, the way I've always looked at it, all of my success came from what I put into what I was doing.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I didn't get paid a lot of money just because
Stop telling my story.
You know, I mean, you have to work and you have to earn that right to ask for the big dollars.
That's right.
And you really know when you're hitting the ball hard and knocking it out of the park when they start chasing you and throwing money at you and you're not even asking or looking for it.
Right. Or that's the mere
nice.
fact that they appreciate you.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes I'll tell you the Egmont Sonderling story. Short version. I left WBMX over a contract negotiation. We were $5,000 apart. Egmont Sonderling, the owner of the station, was offering me $95,000 to program WBMX after I'd already made it number one. This is right after I beat GCI, Abe. And I said, no, my number is 100. I want 100 plus I want 25 grand per book, and so that was my number. And he said, no, I've never paid a program director that kind of money, and I'm not going to start now. So I said, okay. I moonwalked away. 2 days later, Marv Dyson was on the phone with me and offered me 135.
Oh,
plus bonuses. I think the bonuses might have been better than the 25. So I went across the street, had success there. And then I think it was like 13 or 15 months later, I get an offer, not looking, to go to KMAL in San Francisco. And they paid me over $200,000 to come there. Now, that same guy that didn't want to give me the 100 ended up giving me $2.5 million to come back.
Sure did.
And I didn't get that because I was a nice guy. I got it because I earned it. I worked hard. Right. I made 3 radio stations in a row successful. Brought them to the number 1 music station at 3 different situations in 2.5 year period.
You did your job.
That's it. And I was doing it with passion, the love. When Abe and I worked together at GCI, man, we would have those meetings and I was passionate about what I wanted to do. And Abe supported my desires, what I wanted to do, the best that he could. And there were frustrating moments when we had to deal with things that we didn't want to have to deal with. Opposition internally, the internal culture of a radio station or any business for that matter. You have to adapt to that and understand how to play that game. Okay, the politics.
Understanding differences. I got this. I'm teaching communication for professionals, and we got a whole big chapter on that called "Understanding the Differences."
Yeah. That's right. So the thing is, guys, you got to love what you're trying to do, and willing to make the sacrifices. Stay up late, get up early. Sometimes you ain't gonna get the kind of pay that you want. Sometimes, Abe, you get your commission stolen from you because.
You know what? But those things are good lessons because you're in the sales when you get your commission stolen. What you realize is that it wasn't your commission because unless you're the sales manager, the general manager, you don't own the accounts. So and once I learned those hard lessons, when I went into any business, I had no thoughts about anybody owed me anything. Nothing. So if I went, I got an account, and the sales manager said, "No, that's going to Reggie." I said, "Okay, cool. Your accounts."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't own it.
Look, let me ask a question. How much time you got, Abe? You got a few more minutes?
Yeah, I got a few more. Yeah.
Okay, because Mike all week long put together this whole list of stuff that he was studying real hard, and I think you'd be a good person to sit in on this while Mike presents this.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike. Break it on out.
Well,
Set it up, Mike.
The thing of it is, Lee and I were having some conversation the other day, and even with Ron, because all of us talk, when we're not doing the show. And I was noticing in these conversations, and I don't think that these guys were really saying this directly to me, but it made me feel, Abe, a little uncomfortable when I would hear them say it. And I was like, okay, well, I know they ain't trying to hit on me or nothing like that. These my friends, these my boys and stuff, but they just keep saying these little things that just says, okay, why did you just say that to me? What's going on? And so, the last person I had a chance to talk to it was Lee, and he even did it. And so had come to the conclusion that, Abe, honestly, these guys aren't aware that they may be saying these things in public, and they need to be addressed so we can address men across the country, because you need to be careful about some things that you say, because you could be giving off the wrong impression to another man.
Comes out of your mouth.
Comes out of your mouth. Okay. Right. Talking about you my friend and you my buddy, and then you say something like, what I'm about to say, and then I'm going, oh, okay, bro. Wait. Did I give you any impression?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Did I put something out there, that made you believe that you need to say that to me? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. You know what I'm saying? So, Lee, you were supposed to give me like a drum roll or some music or something.
I'm sorry, I forgot the drum roll, man. I'll give you this.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So, number 7. Okay. All right. That's like that.
Okay. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Love and things that you should never say to another man.
Things men don't say to other men. Okay. And so, we're glad that Abe have you stick around for this, because, like, you're around a lot of people, and some of that business that you in can be a little bit persuasive, 2021, 22. Okay, so, and I know it, at the ripe age of 70, you've learned how to defend yourself and not be caught up in situations where somebody, literally is saying something to you. You go, hey, I'm married, man. Come on, back down a little bit. I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm cool. I'm good. All right. So, coming in at number 7, things men don't say to other men. Mm-hmm. Number 7. You too hot, man. What do you think about that? You're too hot, man. Why would you say something like that to me? I mean, I'm just like, what do you mean I'm too hot? I mean, why you even got me in the space? Why am I in the space atmosphere of like a Weather Center channel statement? What do you mean I'm too hot?
Now you got to give them a context in which it came out now, because you just can't say that. Like no, because see, we were doing a mic check.
I was about to say, you doing a mic check. You said, man, you too hot.
Right.
You fell for the banana in the tailpipe, because I wanted everybody to know. Oh, who said it? You, Ron.
Yeah.
He was talking about my mic being too hot.
Yeah, being too loud. Okay. So not even if your microphone is too loud, you don't want to say them words.
Right.
You too hot, man.
You say your microphone is too loud.
You gotta say the whole thing. You just don't say you too hot, man. Why you do that? You too hot, man.
Look.
I don't know. I don't know. He didn't have the same inflection that you just put on that.
Yeah, you too hot, man. You too hot, man.
Oh, Lord have mercy. And that was number 7, huh?
I made the list. Okay, now keep going.
Oh, I can't wait for number 6.
And number six. I was gonna call one of you guys to play with it. Play with what? What do you mean? I was gonna call one of you guys to play with it. Like if you struck out with Abe, then I'll try it on Mike. And then if Mike say no, you ask Dr. Ron. And then if Dr. Ron say no, then you gonna go to the professor. And last but not least, maybe you'll get Lee to play with it.
Now, I'll tell you how that one came up, folks. It was something that I said, and Mike and Dr. Ron were on the phone, and it was something I wanted to test with them.
Whatever it is, that wasn't it.
What was it? A microphone? What were we talking about?
Let's hope it was a damn microphone, because I had nothing else to offer for you to test.
It was a program. I think it was a program or something that Mike had downloaded, and he needed some help with it.
That's right. It was
right.
Road Connect. Yeah.
It was the Road Connect.
That's what it was. Yeah. And I downloaded it on my computer.
Right. You said, you're right. Yeah, okay.
And then he came out of his mouth and said, I was gonna call one of you guys to play with it.
Yeah. So only a twisted mind like Mike would interpret that that way.
You just said what was said.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I wanted.
You got to be careful.
Wanted some clarification on what he was talking about playing with.
Right.
He said I was gonna call you guys to test the Road Connect. That would have been appropriate. Now I was gonna call you guys to see which one of y'all was gonna play with it. What? What the hell is going on here? No, it's gonna be 5 guys in a microphone. I ain't coming to work next week. Shit.
I broke one of my cardinal rules in teaching radio personalities that think about what you're going to say before you say it on the air. So I didn't think about it.
Yeah. You just
I think I was driving when I said that, by the way. I was in the car.
I was going to call one of you guys to come over here and play with it.
Oh, shut up. What's number 5?
All right, number 5. It ain't up yet.
Oh.
What ain't up yet? Yeah. Now, I mean, Lee, how did we get to that? It ain't because it was something. It was either the mic volume or it was something like that.
Yeah. Again, another one of my hoof and mouth.
And I
statements.
said, are we ready? And you said, no, it ain't up yet.
I think I had to reboot the computer. I think that's what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just lost. I was like, what ain't
it ain't up yet.
I was like, what ain't up yet?
It ain't up yet.
Yeah, I think I was rebooting the computer.
All right, so if you just tuned in, we going over things men don't say to other men, because these were slip-ups and just some mild-mannered conversations that we were having, during technical difficulties that were obviously beyond our control and shit we got coming out of our damn mouth.
Right.
So we're trying to make sure that this don't happen in a circle of you and your friends. And so just be aware of things that you just might slip up and say that could be misconstrued. And I didn't mean to use the word, no pun intended, misconstrued.
Right. See?
Need some of that Twilight Zone music.
Right.
What's the next one?
Wait a minute, let me see if I got some of that Twilight. No, I ain't got
it. Look, you doing the list and you got Tinkerbell, man. Come on now.
All right. Let's get to number. Okay. All right. Here's number 4. You ain't gonna let it come natural?
I don't know what that one was
I
about.
don't either. I don't remember that one.
I don't remember that one either, but I was just asking that word be because that word can be spelled two different ways.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
You
so,
sure, wait a minute. You sure you got the right list?
I'm holding the list in my hand. There the list is right there. Yeah, there the list is right there. You see it right there. The list is right there.
Oh my God. So what was that, number 4?
That was number 4. You gonna let it come naturally. Like, well, what other way would it come?
I don't think that one came out of my mouth. I think that came out of Ron's mouth.
Okay, you going too far. Don't even say that. Okay, that didn't come out of your mouth. Okay.
It didn't come out of my mouth either.
I don't think that came out of my mouth. Stop it, Lee.
What's 3?
Number 3. But I want to see it. Want to see what, motherfucker?
Oh my God.
I mean, some of these things get way too much expression. But I want to see it.
Oh man, look, you got
It's getting deep now.
Look, you got Abe writing this shit down, bro. He's writing it down.
I mean, he should be writing this down because he's in there. He's in it.
But I want to see it.
But I want to see it.
That's jacked up, man.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on in the conversation that you didn't believe?
Yeah,
you having a conversation, and maybe you're talking to your boy, your friend, or something, and they just. But I want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I can see Abe now in his next board meeting talking this trash. Now this is some stuff I don't want y'all to use no more. I don't want to see it. Okay, I'm just letting y'all know right now. I don't want to see it.
Yes, but I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it. Like you didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like you was describing what it possibly looked like, but you don't believe the person. But I want to see it.
I think that one came about. We were trying to. I don't know. We were showing each other something visually, and
stop. You making it
I'm
work.
trying to remember how that came about, though.
It was all technical.
It was.
Conversation was all dealing around
you
technical.
Make this worse. No. Hell no. I'm not joining in on that shit.
Okay. So what's number 2? Damn it.
All right, number 2. Number 2. I haven't played with it yet.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I think I said that one.
I remember when y'all came up with that one.
Never play with it. What are you talking about? You ain't played with it yet. You ain't gonna never play with it. When they talk about the who, what, when, where, none of that fits. I haven't played with it yet.
Yeah.
I think that one came. I think I said that one too because we were talking about another piece of software that you had, and I hadn't
seen you since 1974.
And I haven't played with it yet.
No. I don't even know you. Who are you again? How did I get on this show? What?
I knew this was going to be a riot.
Oh God!
Once again, if you just joining the show, things men don't say to other men, because a lot of times you work in an environment with other men. It could be on the construction site. It could be, you know, doing technical stuff. You know, you're not always in a situation, you know, where you're working with another male figure. So you have to be sometimes conscious of what you're saying, even though you're busy, or you could be eagerly distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you keep up and you're getting a little sleepy on it.
Yeah.
All right,
Number
so-
one, drum roll,
Number
please.
one. Can I get a drum roll, please?
That's the best I can do.
Yeah, that's it. This is the number one. You know what?
Take
Things
your time.
men don't say to each other. This came in
At number one.
at number one. I can't get it up. I can't get it up. I can't get it up.
Oh,
I don't even know why he asked me, because I can't get it up.
under no
Under
circumstances.
no circumstance, I can't get it
Oh,
up.
I do. You do not want to ever confess that.
You
And I
should
don't care.
never.
I
No,
don't care
That
what
came
age
in at number
you
one.
in.
You should never.
even
I don't
after
care
prostate
what.
surgery, you don't want to say
You don't
that.
even, yeah, right.
Yeah, you don't never want to confess
Oh,
that.
man.
Never.
Yeah,
Ever, ever.
ever. The number one thing a man shouldn't say to another man, I can't get it up.
Period.
Don't even think about it.
Period. That's it. That's all. Number
That's
one.
it. That was it.
Number one.
Number one.
I'm not sure
we
that-
asked you to- we asked you to stick around for this part of the show, because a lot of times, like I said, you in the entertainment business and you're out there and, you know, you're mingling with folks. And like you said, people come up and introduce themselves and they know you and that kind of stuff. And it's easy for conversations like that to happen. It's easy. But you don't ever know when somebody, you know, the conversation's tricky.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Tricky conversation.
And Laura Rice has a good response, and I was about to say that. But I don't think you want to say number one even to a woman, because
Right.
she'll be looking
No,
at
to
you.
anybody.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying.
To
That's
anybody.
not
Don't
being
even,
number one.
don't even
Period.
think it.
Period.
Don't
You
even.
Yeah.
don't say that
Period.
to a dog. You don't say
Period.
that to another woman. You if you can't get it up, then
Don't say it.
don't say
Don't
nothing.
say it.
don't say nothing.
Don't say nothing.
Just
Don't
just
say
moonwalk
nothing.
away.
Just
Yeah.
walk away. Don't even say anything. Change it.
Just
How's the
leave it
weather
alone.
today?
Just
I mean,
leave it
just
alone.
come on
Yeah.
with
Time to
something else.
moonwalk.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
saying anything.
Yeah. Now, totally, all of those conversations were about technical stuff.
All
Yes.
of them were
Absolutely.
technical based. They
Yeah,
were
all
all
of them.
100%.
technical
Every
stuff.
one of them was about
Nobody
technical
was
stuff.
compromised. Nobody was in the same room.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we were on the phone. It was a three-way phone call.
Hey,
Right.
stop! Lee, you
We were having a threesome.
No, we were not. No, we were not. No.
Oh
No, we
yeah.
weren't. No, we were not. Hell to the no. No. I was on my phone. You was on the phone, and somebody else was on the phone. It was not no.
Oh yeah.
It was a threesome. That's something you
man.
don't say to a your group. Wait, we was having a threesome at the time, and it said no.
Oh. So now,
You see how things can get out of control? Just
that fast.
the English language is so complex.
It's so
Yeah.
You can
complicated.
get yourself in trouble quick, fast, and in a rush. That's
Yeah.
why a lot of guys have lost their jobs in corporate America,
That's right.
saying stuff, not meaning any harm.
It just happened.
And we've all had bosses like that.
Was
Right,
that on
Abe?
the list? It just happened.
Oh yeah.
I gotta check myself now when I say shit. You know, I mean, like,
You better.
I need a
Yeah.
valet around me. Just make sure that if I say anything inappropriate, I need you to just step in.
Yeah.
And straighten it out.
No, stop. No, don't say that. Don't say that. You're right.
Yeah.
Right,
No, you
right.
didn't mean
Don't-
that.
don't
No,
even
no,
think
what you
about
were
it.
Trying to say was no. You
Right,
you gotta-
right. So Abe, now you see how we do this thing. You gonna come back and see us again sometime, bro? He looking for a word.
Like Gladys Knight said, it's too much for the man. Abe looking for that midnight train to Georgia.
We couldn't make Gladys said that. We couldn't make it.
Just couldn't make it.
We couldn't make it.
See?
Oh man.
It never
Oh
ends.
man.
Oh man.
The things you don't say to
See,
another
now
man.
Abe is about to say, get in touch with my agent.
Right.
Just walk away like,
Call my
Right,
attorney.
call my
man.
attorney,
Exactly.
Right.
You need legal protection to come up in here.
That's
There
it.
you go.
That's it. That's it.
Well,
So-
look,
Absolutely, because this is wonderful, man. I love this. So
He
absolutely.
Abe tried to watch what he say. I mean,
right. He careful now. He careful now.
That's right. Think before you speak.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get back to you.
There you go. There you go. Well, look, I want to say this. Thank you
Yeah.
for
Yes, sir.
taking time out of your busy schedule, and come to hang out with us, bro, because we enjoyed every bit of what you had to say to us. Notice I'm
Yes.
explaining it, so nobody misconstrue. Everything that you said to us was a blessing and a wonderful,
Yeah, it really was.
and motivational, and I just want to say thank you for everything that you have done and all of the breadcrumbs you have laid down through your life for us to follow, and having time for people when people usually in your situation don't have time. They put themselves above the people and they don't have an opportunity to be able to share. You make yourself readily available to the point where you put out your whole phone number.
Always touch them.
Yeah, so I thank you, man. I can't thank you enough. I knew it was gonna be a riot. It was like I'm gonna say this story and I'm gonna let Lee finish it off. We were talking about ages. Remember a couple of months back, and your name came up. Me and Lee was talking about who was the oldest. So, and I was saying, no, Abe ain't that old. And then Lee was saying, "Oh yeah, Abe is older, or something like that." No, you said you were
I
old.
said I'm older than Abe. Yeah.
Right? And I said,
I think
so.
Abe is 1 or 2 years younger than me.
Right, and then
as
so
it turns out, you're what, 70?
Yeah.
I'm 71.
Right. So when Abe finally called back, because he was laughing because we was on the phone, left him a long ass message, and then when he finally called back, he said, "Yeah, you lose that one. Lee is older than me." So man, I knew from that conversation that this conversation was gonna be off the hook. And it was everything that I thought it was gonna be. And we're gonna have to do it again. We're going into 22.
That's something that I love to, and I love you. I love you all, man. Wait a minute.
Love you back.
Can I say that? Can I say that?
I love you, man.
I love you,
man. I love you, man.
Right.
I love you, man.
No, that's right.
Yeah, that was okay.
That was
you
okay.
get by on that one. Yeah,
we'll let you. Okay with that one.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
we love and respect you too, man.
We really do.
And treat the rest of your life like hip hop, and you don't stop.
Yeah.
Just keep doing what you've been doing, man, because you've been planting seeds, and you can see the forest from the seeds that you've planted, and your legacy will live forevermore.
Yes,
absolutely.
Man, this has been a pleasure. Hey, now I look forward to doing this again. All right.
All right.
All right. That's safe too. That's safe too. You can say that one too. That's safe. Yeah.
Oh, God bless y'all, man. All right.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Abe.
We love you, brother.
Bro.
Stay warm.
Man, great stuff.
Yeah, man.
Great show. Great show.
We need leadership, and all the stuff that's going on. And I started this thing on Facebook called the Programmer Department. And, it was kind of journalistic in its own way, but it was actually, I get 400 to 500 emails a day. And a lot of these stories that come out about the tax certificate and, things they're doing. I mean, Biden just appointed the FCC commissioner, and I mean, he didn't have, how long has he been in now? How many months is
January?
In January. So we're like
months.
11,
10 and a half months. Yeah.
Right. Is it that important? I think right now, with what we see with consolidation, when we see a company goes bankrupt and it's $24 billion, there are some things that need to be a priority in this administration, and anybody's, not just his, but in anybody's administration, because we got issues with consolidation. We got issues where greed has come into play, and not just with radio. We're talking about in a lot of businesses that are out there. And we really, really have to have these opportunities to speak. I was talking about Abe being purpose-driven. And that's a great thing about people, the same thing that Professor does with his class. He's always looking out for his class. The same thing that Dr. Ron does. He's always trying to get somebody. Ron loves being on the phone. He'll call you, man, and he just always just wants to, get into the thick of things. And Lee is, always helping folks, always volunteering himself. And it's not egotistical. It's not something that is asked of any of us. If it doesn't come natural, you should be asking yourself why, or asking your father why.
Yep.
If it doesn't what?
If it doesn't come natural.
That's where I came from.
If it doesn't come natural, you should be saying, Lord, why did I have to help out with this? I was supposed to come in here and go boom, boom, bang, bang.
So what number was that?
Natural.
Was that number 5 or 6?
Next list.
No, that was on this one.
You need to ask for some help.
No,
that was on this list, wasn't it?
That was on this list.
It was on this list.
Yeah. Come natural. Yeah, something about come. You said 2 different ways to spell it.
Oh, that was number 4. You gotta let it come natural.
Okay.
Okay. There you go.
It's a little bit different.
No, it's the same thing.
Same thing.
So, Mike, since I'm going to jump in on this technical stuff now, listen. I am looking at your earpieces, your ear monitors. And I want something like that. The ear monitor. I would like to. I'd like to
watch it when I want something like that. Watch out now.
Yeah.
Calm down, dog. Calm down.
Yeah. I like the over the ear hook.
Calm down.
Yeah. I want something like that.
I want something like that.
Yeah.
I think I got these at Best
Buy. The one that I'm using, Professor, is the MEE Professionals.
Okay.
Comes in a nice little case. And I need to adjust the little things that go in the ear because I got little bitty ears.
Right.
And I need to step it up so it'll stay in. These are the smallest ones. But these are, they're, see? I can't do you guys now.
Yeah, you picture that.
Can't do it. So, I'm not gonna say anything else.
So you gotta get like a little chair or some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So normally I wear them behind me.
Yeah.
I got an extension cable so I can run it behind and up my the back of my shirt. That way
like
you can't really see it.
I get it.
Oh, shut up.
So
yeah.
So Buck had me to get some of these audiophile elements.
Let's see what they. Oh, is that what you're wearing now? Let me see what does that look like. Okay. I like these right here because they fit. The worst thing is with buds, they fall out.
Right.
Even with the other ones, like I keep these over here on standby and this kind of stuff. And like I said, they're always, if you move it around, these never move. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah, these have a little ear thing that goes around the top and behind the ear, like a little wire.
And who's the manufacturer?
On mine or Lee's?
Both.
Mine is MEE.
MEE.
Professionals. They've got 3 or 4 different
I don't know who
models.
the manufacturer this is. It's like MI50 or something. Let me look and see if it's on the side. These are
I got them on
JVC.
Amazon.
I'm sorry. These are JVC.
Okay.
At Best Buy.
Okay.
I got these at Best Buy. I do know that JVC.
Okay.
Yeah, the MEE Professional. I think they were like a couple $100, $199.
Yeah.
But they've got cheaper ones as well.
Yeah,
But these
so,
are the ones they're called studio monitors.
right.
Basically.
I looked at that. I looked at the Shure
Mhm.
in-ear monitor. I looked at that one. So I'm going to get that one. I mean, I tried this one because I this is okay, and I wanted to try it just for to see how I feel.
Mhm.
And I'm more less more apt. I like to feel more the bass of the over
Over the ear. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got these Bose units here. Yeah, Bose. I got these, and I didn't buy these. I had a client, one of my limo clients, left them in the car.
Oh, wow.
And I went back to the guy's house. Maybe I didn't realize it for about 45 minutes. Went back to his house to return them. The guy never answered the door. I called and left 3 different messages. He never returned the message. So I don't know whether he intended on leaving them or he died or got hijacked. I don't know. But that was
called and said, I think we need to get together and play with it or something. You your message.
No. Hell to the no.
So we can play with it.
No, hell to the no.
Yeah.
So I liked I got my Yamahas. I do like those. But I didn't want to have that space phone look. So I kind of look kind of cool, So,
yeah. I've been trying to use these ear monitors. I prefer the Bose sound because it's got a full sound. Yeah,
true sound. Yeah, I use the earbud, kind of like what Professor got, but mine's a Panasonic, so they work real good. I get the bass, they don't have the microphone piece on it, just straight earbuds, so I don't have to worry about any interference with, mics canceling each other, Yeah, but I want to go back just a little bit to something that Mike was saying a little while ago. One of the reasons why we talk as much as we do on air as well as off of the air is because iron sharpens iron.
Amen.
And, when you have somebody that is of the same caliber and we can uplift each other and work with each other to help, like Lee was saying earlier in the conversation, he's been working with me. And, he construes that I'm hard-headed. It's just sometimes he be saying some stuff that's ridiculous, and it takes a while to, to sink in. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he do know a little something at 71 years old, so, but it takes a little while. It ain't like I'm not listening, but he be talking that impossible stuff, like, go outside and shovel the snow in the whole neighborhood. No, my days for shoveling snow is over with. I can't do that. But he still puts those kind of requests out there. That's not gonna happen.
You just don't like the homework I send you. I send him technical.
Man, look, this
reports and stuff.
5:00 in the morning, sending texts. Talking about, I just know when I see it, he got another assignment for me to look up on YouTube.
That's right. Something for you to read.
And I'll look at it eventually, eventually, but I ain't finna wake
call
up
and argue with me.
Yeah, I do. I do. I
That's
sure
good.
will. But the mentor factor is there, is what I'm saying. And just like you mentor me, I mentor other people. We pass it on.
That's
we
right.
We keep the information moving. It's not a wasted, information, passes. So I'm being careful with my words. I almost said something else.
You got close. I would have picked up my phone. I was like, I gotta get that one down because he getting rid of it. You
You
can
know,
walk into that one.
yeah, no, but it's great, and I love you guys. You know, like Mike says every week, man. I love you guys.
I do.
You know, and you know
Yeah.
we communicate on a regular because you know it feels good to be able to communicate with one another. You know, and yeah, we laugh and we joke and we tease and we talk about stuff that's funny, but it's encouraging and it's uplifting. See, it's you know, years and years ago, you know, I had a manager that used to work with me, um, you know, that used to say, you know, when you're in the public, you know, you're in character. You know,
Right.
you got on your uniform. You know, you the clown. But nobody ever sees the tears of a clown when you're not performing in public.
When no
And
one's around.
right, you know,
Smoke
so the
in the
whole
miracles.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
so the whole bottom line is it's good to have people that you don't have to perform for. You know, you can just be yourself and just hang out and just do what we do, and we all appreciate one another for who we are and what we do. You know, come on now.
Man,
Absolutely.
That's right.
man, amen. I mean, I love that because see, I get a chance to hang out with heavyweights. You know, see, because I'm just a little kid on the block. I'm a forever learner. You know, I'm always looking to go into some forensics on something in
Hmm.
regards to what we dealing with. And I like to go back to one of the Temptation songs about
Uh-oh. Look out.
where it says you're never too old to learn.
Yeah.
You know, so and I always keep that in my mind. And so every week, the reason why I make the commitment because every week it's a journey for me to hear. And I mean, it's like my experiences when I was trained in audio by Danny Leake. Man, I just wanted to sit. I wanted to just sit at his feet. It didn't matter because whatever he said and whatever he did, I'm listening and watching you guys. It's like rain falling all on me. It's being absorbed into my body. You know, I began to understand. Like first time I went to meet Lee. You know, I complain. You never hired me or nothing like that. But you
He ain't bring
understand?
me to Chicago. Took Doug Banks,
Yeah.
that little twirly guy, left me down in St. Louis.
Yeah. And so, but when
Tony
I
Washington.
You wasn't ready.
when
I
I
wasn't
reached
ready.
out,
I know that, but I mean, that wasn't the point. That nobody's gonna feel sorry for me if I say I wasn't ready. I'm sorry, Professor. But see, he
that's all right.
said that I know I wasn't ready, but that
But
don't sound good.
when I reached out, there was no door closed, and all the
Yeah.
information that I wanted to have, all the questions that I asked, he answered. And there was no judgment about who I was, well, this, that, and other. And when we talked about KKC and the things I did in college radio and stuff, it was encouraging. And then he would tell me some things. Well, yeah, well, we wanted y'all to play it first before we even touched it. You know, I would send people. I would tell people, take it down to KKC. You know, if y'all break
Right.
it, we'll deal with it. And those kind of
Start
things.
the fire for me.
Yeah.
You know?
And that type of respect. And whenever it came to ownership, he was there, especially when I got on my soapbox on ownership and trying to understand what was really happening. So tonight was another revelation piece for me too, even though I've talked to Abe many times, you know, just to hear that and just to hear those inner stories, you know, I understand that thing got up here and I understand a whole lot more now, you know. And so now after I let it saturate and process, you know, I'm going to come out with more feeling, you know.
Right, exactly.
Well, let me just say this. I admire you so much, Reggie, because you are committed and you're doing something that Ron or Mike and Chris, and well, Chris to a certain degree, because he's done some teaching, but you got that stuff in front of your name that says professor.
Amen.
Okay, you got that. You are a professor. You are teaching what we do. And without you, there'd be a lot of lost souls, a lot of kids that would not have an opportunity. So you have a very, very important role.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Very important,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
now more than ever before, because the opportunities are few and far between. So when they leave your wing, you're out there flying, and you got them flying under your wing. When you say, "Okay, I'm turning this way, y'all go on into the wild blue yonder," you are preparing them to fly on their own and
Yes.
recognize the opportunities and the teaching that you have to do right now is not just commercial broadcasting, but non-commercial broadcasting, podcasting, live streaming, text, the spoken word. All of those things now are opening up new opportunities. That's what they have to come to the universities for, to master. And FYI, I'm engaged in some conversation with some potential investors about, I don't want to speak too fast, but there may be some opportunities in Chicago for some technical schools to come about to teach some of the things that some of the universities may not be willing, or it's not a part of their curriculum. And we can do it in a fashion that it's really hands-on. So we'll build some studios and, video and audio type broadcasting, and really put them in there and teach these kids. And the first opportunity looks like it might be in Chicago. So,
Wow. Amen.
Yeah.
That.
yeah. So I'd like to take that concept nationwide, because, a lot of these kids are learning online, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they're not getting the why. Why do you do the things that we're telling you to do? So I've watched thousands of videos of these so-called social media influencers and experts, and they're, got 2 million, 5 million, 20 million followers. And they're doing something obviously right, but they're not teaching anyone how and why. You have to pick that up on your own. I mean, there's some guys out here selling these master classes, training and all of that, and that's fine. But are they really masters at it? What they've learned how to do is to manipulate the algorithms of the search engines and the social media platforms. And that's, I guess, a mastering of it in its own. But I think there's some other subliminal stuff that we teach in radio that they don't understand themselves. And if they would come to a Mike Love or a Professor or Dr. Ron or a Lee Michaels School of Broadcasting, even if they have 20 million followers, they maybe could have 40 million, because we could teach them some stuff that they don't get yet.
Right.
They may be doing some of it right, but they don't know they're doing it, and they could do it better. That's the key.
Yeah. I look at, to that point, I look at a person like Kevin Samuels. Here this guy has got, an audience that he manipulates every day, every day he manipulates his audience, and he's monetized what he does to the point where he doesn't have a craft. I mean, he doesn't. I mean, he just,
Is he trained in any psychology, psychiatry, or
dude, I don't know.
relationship? Does he
He's
have a degree in any of that? I've seen some of his stuff, but I haven't really
it's pure
jumped
D
into his
garbage.
background.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's pure. He's a 6-figure income person, and people pay. Some people pay to get abused verbally by him. I'm
That's
serious.
stupid. That's stupid.
But I mean, he speaks to what Lee was just saying. He doesn't know what the hell he doing. Okay, as far as a broadcaster. Now he has monetized YouTube, and he's making money off of YouTube.
Mhm.
But he can't hold a candle to none of us. He
Well,
can't hold a candle to it. But he's been
I'll
able to monetize.
yeah, I'll say this. He's found a niche,
Right.
Right.
and
he
it's
filled
a
that hole. That's right.
yeah, and it's a similar niche that what's his name that Mike you work with that was doing what's his name show that he quit because they didn't offer him the right money. What's his name?
You talking about Baisden?
Baisden, Michael Baisden.
Michael Baisden? Okay.
Michael Baisden came along with this thing of relationships between men and women, and he wrote several books. And because he wrote the books, he had a certain amount of popularity from the people who bought his books. Then he got on the radio, and this Kevin Samuels is kind of the same kind of thing. And he'll insult the women. He'll come on and say, "Yeah, you're stupid.
He's terrible.
You're fat and you're ugly, and a man's not going to go for that." So
terrible.
that's his niche. But they're eating it up. Some people like to be abused, and some of the stuff that he's saying is true. There's some truth to it, and then sometimes the truth hurts. So he's got that niche, and he'll have millions and millions of people following him, and he is monetizing that. That's why I was asking. I don't know if he has a degree in the advice that he's giving, but I guess you don't need that. Really.
Is all that stuff that we know of that he's live, or does he have those produced characters?
So we don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
We don't know.
He does his broadcast live, and
I mean, but that
but the
doesn't mean he
characters,
didn't have to.
Are they real or is it
people that come on there to be abused?
Right.
Now that behind the curtain we can't see.
Right.
Yeah, because some of it could be theatrics. Some of it could be because what leads me to believe that there are real people involved sometimes is because of the responses of the people to him when he hits them in the gut so hard that a natural instinct is that they bite back. Now that could be theatrics too. But at the end of the day, that was a real comment right there.
Well, Lee always says, and we all say this, we all know this: content is king.
Absolutely.
And when I'm in class, I tell students, you can create that content. You create it. And you, just like we talked about how y'all talked about how Doug with the reel to reel could do that. Man, can you imagine how that's done now with Adobe Audition?
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
Or Pro Tools that you could, I mean, because in one of my assignments for my principles of announcing class and and my radio production, I have them to produce a character, a 2-character narration, and then in some instances, I have them to reverse the vocal, and tell the story as if that when a person hears it, they still know what they're talking about, even though you can't understand what the second person is saying.
Right.
You know the gist of what the overall story is about. So, I mean, it's amazing the things that technology allows you to do that we were like people like Doug were cutting edge back in the day,
Totally.
And I used to sit there, and run the reel to reel at Kennedy King in 75 and stuff and have double conversations with myself and, fix them up. And then I had got to the point where I could do both characters when I learned on the 4-track how to punch stuff in.
I remember vividly that Doug would go into the production room before he went on the air. And he had this one character that he was doing at that time was called the Reverend Preacher.
Right.
And the preacher, he would lay down and then he would take that reel and take it into the studio and play it back live on the air and talk to the preacher. And I said, boy, this guy's schizophrenic. He's nuts. How can you do that, right? I never seen anybody do that. But what really tripped me out was when I saw him do 2 characters and himself.
Right.
And the second character was also live. And I saw him. I said, wait a minute, he's gone way out there now. And it worked. So he'd have the preacher there, and then he had this other character, Sister Sarah, which was one of the members of Reverend Preacher's church. So Sister Sarah would be commenting, and the preacher's talking to Sarah, and he's talking to them. And I'm like, now that's some real kind of genius shit right there. And the first time I saw him do it, I was standing in the production room with a glass window in between that and the main studio. And I was just, my mouth was dry after seeing him do that. And I went into the studio after the show. I said, man, how do you do that? I mean, the rhythm and the timing and everything was perfect. I said, did you rehearse that? He goes, no, not really. I just know, what I want to say. And I leave a certain amount of time in between and boom, it works.
Insanity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's creative talent,
Yeah.
It's creative talent, and
like there's nobody doing that right now.
Yeah,
right.
You create a timing for it, and then it becomes a part of your routine.
Yeah,
so.
Well, you don't have to do it. The technology is out here. So if you had Adobe,
much easier now.
You just slide it and just move that over there, and the rest is history.
All you got to do is just say the vocal tracks and just cut them up and just place them on the timeline.
Place them on the timeline, and that's
Vox Pro, that would do it. Or Adobe Audition or any of the digital recording software type and hardware. You could do it a lot easier today.
Quicker, man.
Because if he messed up on recording the character, he would start over from the top and do it. But now, you just punch it in.
Right.
You need some space in there. You just hit it, record, don't say anything, and then start talking again. So what you can do today is so much easier and opens up more opportunities for creativity than ever before. And can you imagine what it's going to be like 10 years from now?
And then in commercial radio, right? In commercial radio, right? They talking every quarter or whatever. They're talking about you losing 10 seconds, 10 to 30 seconds. You can't do anything. And so that's opening the door now for people to do these creative things with their podcasts and all that other stuff, I talked to this one lady. She's out of DC, and we both love we're Dusty music lovers, and I worked in the same building with her at Howard and never met her, but we're really good. We're really great friends now. But she tells me that when she does her show, she gives a lot of the history and all these things about the artists and stuff. She says, well, that's the producer in her. Where me, I'm just when I do my show, I'm just a wild Dusty guy. I'm just
you're a jock.
Yeah, I'm talking about I'm riding.
Jocking. Yeah.
Right, you jocking.
Yeah. I'm just riding. But she tells you, such and such group did such and such at that time. If I can't say it on the back end of a song or nothing like that, and to where it doesn't relate to the next song that I'm going to play, I won't get that deep. But we both seem to match together, and people have a fit when we don't. I'm not going to perform this weekend, and she's not going to perform this weekend, and so people have a fit. The East Coast, my East Coast and Central and South and West Coast folk, they're gonna have a fit. I'm going out this weekend. Some people that came in.
Well, don't worry, brother. I'll do a guest DJ.
He'll come in and make a whole bunch of inappropriate statements that'll keep your audience really tight.
Yeah. So the I'm here, the boom, the things that we have done. It's like so many people that talk to me, they say, man, you crazy on street news now. We love it, And you sitting there with those guys and y'all are telling the truth in a way that we haven't heard it.
Right.
And it's not structured. There are no gatekeepers around us, and that's the beauty of the things that we do. And it's going to grow. And like I'm in it for the long haul, as long as I have breath. As long as I have breath in my body and I'm able to get up and do what I do, I'm coming, because my rheumatoid got into my shoulder, man. I couldn't hardly move my arm.
Not the rheumatoid.
Yeah, man. And then when it hits, it's like it just takes my whole left arm from me, right? And it's like,
wow.
I can't do anything. It's a chore for me to get up and to lay down. I can't sleep. That rheumatoid arthritis is a monster.
I think you need to let Lee come over and play with it.
No, that's a job for Ron because he's there in Chicago. So
No.
I'm in Vegas. I can't help you.
You're not gonna get me.
I can't help you, brother.
And look, as a matter of fact, since you talking about rheumatoid and all that other stuff, hey man, I was looking at that video you put up from the 50-yard line.
Which one?
About a week ago. It was a birthday party.
Yeah, with Hollywood Frank.
Yeah, man. I was
that
looking
the one
at.
we were talking about the other day. We saw him on.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, and I said, man, all them guys looked like they done had hip replacements, knee replacements. Them dudes was the women was getting down. They had their rhythm. Yeah, but one dude was standing there dancing, and he was leaning on the rail.
Now,
he was up there.
Was
oh
80
my
80
God!
And higher. I mean, there was nobody in there under the age of 78.
One dude, they had to help him up onto the stage area. I was like, "Go on, boy!" And see, Reggie was videotaping everything. This how you get down? Yeah, it sure is.
Well, listen. What's happening? What's happening at that level? There's as a people, we segregate against ourselves. We segregate a lot, and we promote segregation, whereas we really don't take into consideration how we are hurting ourselves when we talk about old versus young or old and young.
Right.
And I try to now eliminate that especially when talking about dancing, because when I came into the social partner dance scene, I was a young man. And when I came in there, I wanted to be like the older guys that were already established into dance. For some odd reason, the millennials or the generations after me and my kids and things like that, believe that they're both chicken and the egg. And that must be because of the things that I did not leave for them. Because there is no way that you could be a human being. And Abe Thomson, I'm saying this from feelings, that it is not possible for you to not believe that you are not standing on the shoulders of someone else.
Yes,
you just didn't come out here and be out here. Right. Someone else laid a platform or laid something down for you to stand on.
Right.
And I stand on the shoulders of those guys, Dr. Ron, you was talking about, that need the crutches coming up the stage, and got the hip replacement and the knees is bad.
Yeah, I mean, we joking, but it looked like you guys were having a great.
Oh, look, they were having a great time. It was a birthday party.
Because remember what I said to you in the thing? I said, man, it was great to see a party where wasn't nobody spewing profanity and ass and breast shaking, and then you know what I'm saying? It just looked like they were having a good time.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. As far as one of the things that we miss historically within our families, it's always been like that. You always have a good time with your family, and then sometimes we forget the nature, the family and nature of how we party. That's when the ego comes in, and all this other kind of crazy stuff always seeps in. So at the parties, what you all witnessed, those guys, every one of them were just trying to be cool.
Yeah.
And they were. They're Chicago
Yeah, they
cool.
look, they were still cool.
Yeah, they were still
Look,
cool.
they were still cool. Bad hips and bad knees and all,
Yeah, I
boy. They
mean,
was cool as hell.
But it looked like a grown folks party.
It was.
It is, but
Yeah.
see, that's the kind of thing that we saw when we're young. When
Yeah,
we were young,
exactly.
we never changed that legacy or the tradition. Now that is being lost in our community because in our
Exactly.
community with our people. Now you can hear it in every news cycle. Sometimes once a week, you can hear about somebody being shot and stuff, or some kind of violence is going on at our parties and stuff like that. It's to the point now where some of the older people that still want to get out and party, they won't come out to party.
Can you blame them?
Because of fear, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And I'm the same way. Even now, I get invited to stuff all the time, but I'm not going. And I'm not afraid of because the people that invite me out to events and things like that, I'm not worried about any outbreaks of violence or anything like that. But I'm still trying to be safe because of the virus that's going around and how the virus is evolving. So there are places where people in our age group in Chicago can go and have the comfort of knowing that it's going to be, like you said, Mike, grown folks having a good time.
Having a good time.
Yeah, and they still got that. Some folks are doing that. And the 50-yard line was packed. That party that he took the video on was packed. Okay. It wasn't like it was like one part of the club. That place was packed.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was a birthday party and everybody was celebrating, and the legacy of stepping music is still alive and well, especially in this, and it's a regional thing. Me and Lee were talking about it one day. He said, yeah, it's a regional thing. In Chicago
owns it, man. They own it.
Yeah, they own it.
But listen now, but listen now, it's like spreading. It's like it's a resurgence, or not a resurgence, but it has spread from the time when and a lot of the music artists have, one of the first videos in 1994 was Solos. Tell me where you want me to put it. All right, now, okay,
that needs to go on the list.
Yeah, but that was a song by Solo, and they started using Chicago dances in that video. A lot of the steppers would get that notoriety, but the explosion came when this other song came out called "Step in the Name of Love."
Kelly.
That really
turned it out. I mean, it turned the whole. I mean, it put a new face on it. It brought people in. I mean, it exposed.
Yeah, they brought the dance because they showed them what the dance was.
But all that was false. That was not.
That's what I was about. I was about to ask you, was that well received in the stepper community?
No,
was that
the song? Steppers hate the song. Real steppers hate the song because it's too fast. You'll never hear a steppers jock play that song.
Really?
Yes, you'll hear that song at a wedding.
They'll never play with it.
Yeah, never. Never. They'll play that song they'll play the song at a wedding. They'll play it at a family reunion and things like that, because that will be the popular way to introduce non-dancers to non-social partner dancers to that. Because I got a bone to pick with Lee, because that's Lee the one messed it up when he started putting all that house on BMX. Lee started house.
All night long.
When Lee started putting all that house on BMX, it forced the black social clubs in Chicago to say, well, yeah, we got to preserve Richard and Herb. So that's when they started kept playing the R&B music. And while the house community exploded, the stepping culture went underground. But
But house is a Chicago thing too, ain't it? Ain't that a house?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Chicago thing.
Man, that swept the nation. Listen, in the newer generations, that's where their experience begins.
Mhm.
Okay, and so I'm steady in this battle with the younger people coming in. I said, look, it's like when you come into stepping, you graduate into being adulthood. You don't bring that house culture into the steppers arena.
Right.
Because it's two different styles of dance. One is an individual style of dance. You go up there and do your thing. You really don't have to know how to dance when you're dealing with house music. You really don't, because it's one beat and they never play a slow song. But when you come into the stepping community, you got to know how to walk. You got to know how to bop. You got to know how to step, because all the music is eclectic. It's going to be different types of music.
Okay, I'll tell you how to bridge that gap.
Talk to me.
So you take those grandfathers and grandmothers and great aunts and tell them to bring their nephews and nieces and their kids to a stepper event and start introducing them to this culture that they don't know nothing about. And I guarantee you there are going to be some of the younger generation that will say, wow, this is really cool. Because it is. It's cool. It'll be different to them. And just like ice skating, roller skating, basketball, baseball, it lives on, but you got to be exposed to it. If you never get exposed to it.
But it's a level of I think it's a level of respect, not to
that
interrupt.
That too.
Definitely. And that's what has to happen. We see the X, the Ys, and the millennials don't have a level of respect of us handing stuff down to them.
Right.
They're busy because they came up in a time and a place that, Facebook was invented, Google was invented, MySpace was invented. So they believe you associate yourself with something that's been invented in our time because that belongs to us.
Right.
And so they don't receive learning something. See, when something was passed on, I mean, you just made some excellent points. If it's passed on and your aunt says, hey, I want to go down there with Professor and them and hang out. Come on down here and have a good time. I want to introduce you to some of my friends. They can't handle that.
Right. Right.
No, they can't.
But it starts at home. Okay. Now,
exactly.
Professor, how many kids do you have?
That the government knows about.
Yeah.
Remember, your wife will see this later.
No, can you tell us in this episode of the
already
show?
knows. I got 3.
3. Okay.
3. One is deceased.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: do you play the stepper music in your household when your kids are around?
Oh yeah, all the time. My daughter hates. She hates, except when I'm playing. If I'm playing the oldies now, she likes Jackson 5 and stuff like that.
Okay.
So what Jackson 5 song would you step off of?
None.
Oh,
I mean, maybe Ain't No Sunshine from Michael, or I'll do some walking slow dance.
Ain't No Sunshine by Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
Have I heard that record before? How does that go?
It just almost
like the other one. Ain't no stuff like a Bill Withers?
It's on the Got to Be There album.
Really? I didn't know that song either.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Well, I had to play it for you, but he definitely.
You don't have to, but if you want to.
Yeah, I mean not tonight, but just Ain't
number
No Sunshine.
8. No.
Yeah, and then his later stuff, the Lady of My Life and.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Lady of My Life. Come on, man. That song right there. Oh,
which one?
Lady, You Are My Lady, the Lady of My Life.
Yeah,
which one?
From off of Thriller. On the Thriller.
You only have one lady of your life?
Oh my God!
Listen, I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Whatever one that Michael was talking about, and it probably wasn't like a rodent. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he sang the shit.
Oh yeah.
Well. Look, I got a question. All these musical geniuses that are here. I have interviewed people from the house era, and I usually piss them off because I call them, hip hop artists or hip hop DJs. They get mad when you say that when you talk about house. But it was said that house was established and created when disco died, then house emerged.
It
So
did.
was that the
Well,
bridge from
it was.
one to the other?
Yeah. Well, see, it's all in the category of dance music.
Mm-hmm.
Disco was dance music. Then there was a null right after disco peaked and started going down the other side of the apex. In certain markets, New York stayed pretty active with dance music, and then the emergence of house, and then hip hop. So these are offsprings from the dance music era. So
Mm-hmm.
by the end of the 70s, 78, 79, and what have you, things began to evaporate in the dance music category.
Mm-hmm.
And then the European market exploded.
That was techno, right?
Exactly. So and techno came on the tail of house music.
Mm-hmm.
And the Europeans, the guys from other parts of the world, took it to a whole nother level. And that's when you start seeing these big time producers, DJs / producers explode. And those guys are making, $1 million a night performing.
Yeah.
And they're not bringing crates of records in. They're not even bringing in CDs. You know what they're bringing in?
Hard drive.
Sometimes it's nothing more than this.
Yeah, hard drive, flash drive. Yeah.
Yep. Or they're bringing in a SSD drive and plugging it into the system, and it's already pre-mixed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not doing it. They're sitting up there like they're doing something. They ain't doing shit.
It's
already,
a playlist.
Yeah. It's already mixed.
Yeah. And
to perfection.
And as a job, I hate that.
Well,
but
I do too, because it's a different kind of art. But
yeah.
I remember when I did my first sock hop.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You just dated that.
Yeah. He said sock hop.
Oh,
that's right.
He went way
It was
back.
in the gymnasium. You couldn't even wear your tennis shoes. They made you take your shoes off.
Oh yeah.
You dance in your socks.
Yeah.
Okay. And they paid me $10. I had one turntable, a PA amp, and one speaker, and a microphone.
Right.
And the acoustics
and that was it.
And the acoustics in that gymnasium was garbage.
Yeah,
it was garbage. Woo,
Absolutely.
Lord, it's garbage.
Sound banging all over the place. And
man, just loud.
And feedback from the cheap microphone.
Yeah.
All you can say was just loud.
Yeah, that's all. It worked. But that's all we had. That was the technology available.
I love them sock hops. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Even though with the technology, and I love it. I love all that continuous music. But one thing I hate about the blending of all the songs all the time. Sometimes I just want to dance with a woman for one song. But then the next thing you know, this cat done mix another song, and then you don't want to look at her and walk away from her, right? You want her to decide that the dance is over, And then I got to get up here and I'm dancing off this song, and I hate it because these cats is just dealing with BPMs. And it seemed like that the guys today, they're more on the technology, but us in our days, we only knew how to play records one way, where is that one song naturally went behind the other one. You was always trying to tell a story. But these cats now are playing music to the numbers and to the BPMs and all that.
Exactly.
And so and so you can't mac at no set like that, man. It's like everything is mechanical. But sometimes a DJ could play a song to help a brother out when he's trying to get this girl. You understand?
Yeah.
But you can't get that no more because the DJ gonna match the beat, and if the lyric of the song ain't with the beat that's gonna match the song, you just out of luck. You gotta use your own skills to try to get these ladies, I guess, or just dance them to death. I don't know, but
feet hurt, they tired. Yeah.
And I just loved spinning back in, spinning in our time, whereas a guy would appreciate you. Man, I'm glad you played that song. It made it easier for me to holler at this girl.
That's it.
That was the DJ's job.
Yeah, right. But that part of the job is gone now, you know, because of technology. So how do we get that back?
Yeah, it's a different world, but it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
It's on just TikTok. A matter of
put it on TikTok.
Put it on TikTok.
You put it on TikTok.
Somewhere.
You put anything on TikTok. At TikTok, you had to bring it back.
But and what I'm discovering now, and I got a lady I just met from the East Coast. Speaking to her, they're coming now because they want to learn how to do the Chicago walk that the gentleman was doing at the 50-yard line. They want to learn how to do that walk now. And so
now can you walk to this?
Oh heck yeah, Lee. Oh baby.
So this is a walker, huh?
Yeah, this is definitely a walker.
I can't hear it.
Ooh, la.
This is a silencer.
Yeah, they ain't got no volume.
Is it playing?
There we go. Now turn up the volume, Lee.
No. I can't. We can't play too much of it because of the copyright bullshit.
Right. Yeah, cut it out.
Yeah. But I wanted to play something like that. Now my oldest boy just turned 50 on the 8th, just a few days ago. So, and my daughter, she probably don't want me to say this, but she's 40. My youngest is 33. I can play any of this stuff and they know it.
They'll know it, yeah.
Right.
Because it was played in my house.
Yeah, you exposed it to them. Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they have an appreciation and respect for it. Even my youngest boy, Corey, is like into the oldies and stuff. I mean, he likes some of the hip hop stuff and all that, and that's fine. I hear him play his era of music, but I also hear him go to the Soul Town on Sirius XM.
When he's driving a truck, what is he like? Well, I mean, what did you identify was his favorite?
He bounces around. He'll go from the Soul Town station. He'll go to the Groove. He'll go to Hits One, which is a top 40 oriented channel. He bounces around.
What would you listen to if you had a choice when you're out there?
Me? I'm
Dr. Ron. Yes, you.
Oh, okay. Well, my choice would probably be, I find myself listening to Soul Town, then the Groove, and then the Heat on Sirius XM.
Okay.
If I'm not listening to some of the talk channels.
Because we never really talk about, for you to be who you are in the business and kind of really just opening doors for a lot of us. I mean, the music that you listen to today. I mean, we'll probably end up doing a show just on you. You need to be interviewed and just talking about, you always talk about things and let us know how you feel about it.
Yeah, just call my agent. We'll work it out.
No problem. It'll be a freebie for us.
Well, look, wait a minute. I got to go here since Lee opened the door. He put up a Smokey Robinson song.
Classic.
The Oh Baby Baby was just up.
So what about this new song that Smokey
don't go there.
The Temptations
come
just
on.
did.
Ron, come on, man.
I gotta go there.
You don't gotta go there.
So what is it like? I mean, I haven't heard it. I have no interest in it.
Good for you.
Yeah, I don't even see. I wouldn't even.
What is it? What is it that they trying to do? Are they trying to?
They're trying to
younger generation.
They're trying to give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to the Temptations and Smokey. I think did Smokey write it? It will produce
Yeah,
it.
he
He's singing
wrote it
on
and
it as
produced
well.
it and singing. Yeah.
What's it called?
I don't even remember. It was that bad. I can't even tell you the name. I listened to it because it was Smokey and the Temptations, but it
Yeah,
was so bad. It's
I
not
don't know
even
what
a
they were thinking.
category that song would fit into. You know how like our era of music had categories. Like you just described disco, house, techno, dance music. That's a category.
Hmm.
Okay. Like the professor was talking about stepping music. That's a category. There's music that make you like, belly rubbing music. But this ain't baby making. It ain't even a good walk down memory lane. And I love the Temptations and I love Smokey. But this song that I listened to did not fit into a category. And me and Lee were listening to it at the same time. And he was saying, ain't nobody going to play this. It's over. It's
Dr. Ron,
history. Come
Dr.
on.
Ron, Dr.
Come on.
Ron, Dr. Ron, has Father Time ever been defeated?
No.
Ah!
All right,
Has
I'm
Father
a
Time ever, and you know that in every aspect of what we do, sometimes some of us stay past our welcome.
all right, I'm gonna bring this song up. It's the
Don't play the
Temptations
whole thing.
with Smokey.
Don't play the whole thing.
And the
please.
title is
Is
it's
it
not
going to
even-
be yes or no? Oh.
Yes. Okay. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give it a yes or no.
I hear absolutely nothing.
I don't
You got
hear
to bring the
anything.
volume. You got to
You don't
bring the
hear it
volume
yet?
up. You got to
You got
feel
the
the
volume
feet.
up. It's not playing.
Well, no. It's playing.
Playing
But
on
You
your
don't hear
end.
it.
It's playing in your head, but it's not playing publicly.
Yeah, it's not playing live. It's not playing
Okay,
live.
hold on. I got to change something on the sharing. Apparently,
You don't really have to.
I know, right? let me stop it.
Yes, or is it going to be no? Oh my God.
Is it gonna be yes
my
or
goodness.
no?
60.
Oh.
Oh no, that ain't.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me see. How do I do this?
I'm getting sleepy.
Oh my God.
Damn.
I swear it don't fit into
Why'd
no
you bring this
category.
up, man?
Yeah.
It fits into no category. Now both Lee and Mike, they do programming, and Reggie plays.
It's
He
time to come
plays.
in.
Website notifications while sharing. Okay. I don't want to block it. Y'all can't hear that?
We
You
can
heard?
hear it.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
We hear something. There it
All
goes.
right, that's me.
Oh, okay. Well, you play it. Go ahead. You play it.
Stop. No. Stop.
Wait. Give it a chance.
No.
Okay, you gonna get us in trouble. Turn it
All
off.
right, that's it.
Okay, that's it. Stop. Can we go home, please?
So well, okay. Let's dig into
What
this
the
one.
hell
I
mix
don't want to
that?
even dig into this. No.
Will Derek Brown at V103 play that in Chicago?
No.
Boom, 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 boom.
No, Derek's not. They're not playing that. No. That's never gonna make it to BDS. They don't experiment with songs. They use BDS and media base, and that's it. If it and research. No.
What were they thinking?
They weren't, because there's no way that the Temptations and Smokey, even if this was 1963, you would never put those two groups together. Never.
I mean, Smokey wrote a lot of the Temptation
Right, he
stuff,
wrote
but
a lot of everybody's stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, catalog.
right.
That's why he still look like he's 25, because he can afford it. But the fact of the matter is, there's just some things you don't put together.
Oh, wait a minute.
No.
So
All
you're
right,
telling me
look.
this was a collaboration between Smokey and the
Father Time
Temptations.
has
Yeah, they didn't have that. That's when
And-
you got that's called idle time.
Look,
and they conned the record label into
They didn't even have
giving
to
them
con it.
give him the
I
budget
mean,
to
it wasn't no
produce it.
con. It wasn't no con. They got 60th on there, which I think is going to be a shot in. Which going to be a shot in the foot, because no youngins is going to get that. They
Right,
not.
no
gonna
old
look at
people
it.
want to hear that. It doesn't. Let me tell you something.
It didn't do nothing good at all.
And-
Look at the wait a minute. Look at the comment of Michael Maison. Look what he said. Put that up there. That's
Put
funny.
that up there.
Keep going, Mike. You was doing good.
I want to go home.
No, not that one. No, the one right before that one. Yeah, there you go.
Listen to the song. It is good for people that love PBS. What's PBS?
Public
old
Public
broadcasting.
broadcasting.
Yeah.
It's not good for them.
It
I
ain't good
know.
for nobody.
It
Let
ain't
me-
good
let-
for nobody.
Let me tell you.
No.
Let me tell you something. I mean, if you're a real true Temptations fan, ain't no way in the world you gonna accept that bass
No,
line.
that's
No.
what I'm saying. It
No,
just,
but it's just a weak production. There's nothing
That's
there. I
all
mean,
the
you
way
can't
around.
create any production for that.
the intro was too long with the boom, 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 and then when Smokey finally came in, it didn't go anywhere.
You know what
It-
they
it-
did? They took the signatures of two groups, because we know that the bass comes from the Temptations,
Right.
from Otis, and they took the Smokey, the what is that called when you sing in his
There has not
Falsetto.
been a bass in the
falsetto.
Temptations since Melvin Franklin passed.
That's what I'm saying. See, some things you just gotta let go.
Man.
You just have to let it go. I mean,
I agree.
the Quiet Storm from Smokey Robinson proved itself. It's the theme to 80% of the Quiet Storm shows that are played across the country on
Right.
Urban AC radio.
Quiet Storm.
The Quiet Storm,
Soft and warm.
soft
Yeah.
and warm.
Quiet storm.
At that point, you're done. You're
Yep.
done. Don't ask for anything else.
Maybe Smokey could pin
No,
another hit song
no, he cannot. No.
with the right artist. I mean, I'll give him
if
that.
you pen. I'm sorry. I wasn't
Yeah,
listening
if he
to-
wrote and maybe produced, but he's a fantastic lyricist.
he's a lyrical genius.
But
Yeah.
wait a minute. I think though, in order for him to be sellable, he's gonna have to include some female dogs, some garden tools, and a few mofos. I mean, come on now. Come on now.
Yeah. Smokey can't go down that road.
I mean,
No.
like,
No.
he gonna have to. In order for him to sell to the young, he gonna have to sell out.
No, well, no, he don't have to. He don't have to cater to them. He can cater to the 35 plus audience.
They ain't buying
Ain't
no
nobody
record.
35 years
45
old.
plus.
They ain't buying
45.
no
You
record.
know.
55.
No,
Yeah, come on.
They don't have no disposable income. They trying
But
to share.
it doesn't matter. If you could pin a great song and get an artist to sing it, you
Yeah,
know.
if you could do that, I have nothing. I don't have a problem with that. But
Yeah.
what we just heard,
Boom, 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 boom.
that was ridiculous.
That ain't it.
That
That
ain't it. You
Yeah.
trying to? It's like, well, you know where this sound came from. You got this one. Then he come. No.
Yeah.
No.
It's not the season for that song.
It ain't the
okay?
season. No. And it
So
ain't going.
it
There
might
is
be
no
the
season for that
in
song.
years from now, but
That's why I say it don't fit nowhere. You can't make no baby off of that.
You can't do nothing with that.
You can't
make
dance
somebody
off of
mad.
that. Yeah, you can't dance off of it. You can't do nothing
There's
with it.
nothing you can do
but
with
you
that.
know, but you know what I'm discovering and what I'm hearing, that a lot of stuff that we heard back in the day that we didn't play, that was like C tunes. These cats, these new DJs, producers, they making them go.
No,
Yeah,
that's
they-
somebody that thought that this was a good idea. I'm gonna tell you something. If you read, I don't know how much you guys look at trade magazines. the trade magazines, the All Access, the Inside Radio, all that, all you see every day is somebody new coming into the record business.
Yeah.
Every day there's somebody now been appointed to A&R. This person been appointed every day. You know why? Because they have nothing. They're trying to bring people in to create something that isn't there. And what they've done, instead of letting I see that. Come on, Mike. The discovery isn't there anymore.
Yeah, I see that.
The discovery isn't there.
I think the music industry is in one of those funks that it goes through every 10 or 15 years.
That's right.
They're searching, they're trying to find out what the new thing is. And that's part of it. So the talent is short. Yeah, and even some of the artists that they're trying to make appeal to the adult format, Urban AC, it's just not there.
What's up? What's up with all the soloists, man? Because they kill the groups.
Oh yeah, well they're killing everything.
They kill the whole thing.
But you got, in order to be able to bring in artists, you gotta be able to offer them something. All the record companies are offering right now are 360 deals. They've been giving them that for the last 10, 15, 20 years. And 360 years, 360 deal is nothing. No artist in their right mind would sign up for a 360 deal on purpose. Okay? Because they're not,
there's some that are doing it because they have no alternative.
Let me tell you,
and they don't have the resources to do their own thing.
It's the thing of it is, some of the best music comes from lifestyle.
Yeah.
These people aren't living a lifestyle to sing about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't say that because the hip hop artists saying that's what they're doing.
Well, that's what they are doing, but that's nothing to sing about. Wow, that's what the problem is.
I agree. I agree with you 100%.
Sing about. See, when you go
not
back
positive.
and look at it, it's not right. Well, even if it's not positive, when you go back and look at Aretha,
we need to quit.
Gladys, Shaka, Phyllis Hyman, they were singing from their hearts.
Yep.
Gladys.
We need to quit because Bucket's not here.
I agree. All those in favor say aye. I'm good. Yeah. Good night, everybody. We love you.
We have no argument tonight.
Yeah.
Not here, so
So this is wasted education. Is that what you're trying to say?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, just to have Buck's input on that.
You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he said he was busy tonight. He couldn't make it. So I hope he's making some money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I mean, it's just a trip that the orchestration, lyrics, the production value has, it's Prophet has watered down paying the musicians for their art now. The Whispers used to have a 10, 15 piece orchestra when they were on town. Now they only carry 5 keyboards. 3, 4 keyboards,
I'm telling you, there's nothing coming from the heart.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with the record industry. They waited. They all chased after hip hop, didn't pay any attention. Everything is old. So you don't have that fiber coming into place where somebody is singing from their heart, because every number one record was a heartfelt record, even if it was up tempo and fast. They were singing.
It was a storyline. It
was a storyline.
A message.
Look what Michael Jackson did with the record Ben. It was a love song about a pet rat.
Mm-hmm.
but it was love. The kid was lonely. Nobody paid any attention to him. So the only place that he got love was he had a relationship with a pet rat.
Bunch of rats. Yeah.
One he picked. The one
Well,
that
yeah,
liked
that
him
one.
and he could beat him.
Yep.
And he see, it's all about expression. And when you get away, we unfortunately, and I love hip hop, but unfortunately, we got a disconnect from expression. When you go all the way back, think about
wait a minute now, wait a minute, Mike. Now they expressing themselves. They talking about different garden tools and female dogs.
I heard you say that 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
and I'm not in disagreement with that. But I'm talking about when we're trying to find something that keeps Smokey and the Temptations from having to believe they need to come out.
They're gonna have, if they're gonna do that, if you can't beat them, join them. And they don't know,
Yeah, but you gotta come right, man. You can't come back.
Right.
It
wasn't nothing right about that.
No, you gotta come.
And I'm not supporting it either.
No.
But the time is over. The time is up. They might as well just stay on the oldie circuit and just keep singing.
You gotta just leave well enough alone.
Yeah, baby, don't cry, and don't let the Joneses get you down.
2 years ago, Smokey was appearing because they had it all the concerts out there on the internet with Patti LaBelle. He would just make an appearance with Patti. Mm-hmm. So that was his market. He can do that and still sing his hits, and Patti can sing his hits with him, and that would be a good show. But when you're trying to release a new album, which is what they were trying to do, that was a bad move all the way around. Like I said, it has no category. It doesn't fit nowhere.
Well, maybe there's some.
That was like Ali trying to go back and fight Larry Holmes. Man.
That was bad.
Exactly.
My hope is that maybe there's something good on the album.
No, don't hope for it. Let it go.
I mean, first of all, they named it 60. They should, in this type of climate, you should not be highlighting 6.
And the person singing it is 80. Okay.
Yeah. There's
60 and
numerous problems there.
And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I hope I look as good as Smokey at 80. And Smokey looks good.
Yeah, you do.
You ain't got enough money, Mike.
I know, but I'm just saying that this is strictly for conversation.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm just saying that, okay, take the blessings for what they are. You got a hell of a catalog. Mm-hmm. You made a tremendous impact on a label that will never die.
Yep. In this time,
and if he's been a good business person and good in handling his financing, he shouldn't have to do this.
Yeah, he's not doing. That's what the problem is, Lee. You just answered it because he don't, and that's what it sounds like. Hey, let's just get in there and do what we used to do 88 years ago.
Yeah, and
I think it was more for the Temptations than it was for him.
Well, no, man. The Temptations. They still ride on some good stuff. Go ahead.
The only reason they did this project is because there was money to be made for Smokey and the Temptations.
They ain't gonna make a dime.
No. It's production. Each one of those people that were involved in that, from the engineers to performers, they all got a piece of money to do that, which is probably bigger than what they make on a nightly basis when they're out there on the road. So
they
gotta understand
money to do the project.
Yes, absolutely. And Smokey probably got $250,000 or maybe $500,000 to write 2 or 3 songs on the album. And they said, well, Smokey, can you perform on at least one? Well, that's going to be another 150. Okay, all right, we can do that. And the music industry is drunk, and they hype themselves before they even get the product out. They buy their own hype. And they say, yeah, man, this would be great. Some moron at the top okayed this deal, right? And he or she might even got a piece of the money.
I mean, there's nothing else to do.
I'm telling you, that's what happened. And they said, okay, well, let's just give it the best we got. Smokey, you got any stuff that's been sitting on the shelf for the last 30 years? Yeah, I got some stuff.
He's a what do you call it? A prolific writer
of all time. I'm going to try to get in touch with Smokey because I think we need to get the inside story if he's willing to tell it, and see if we can get Smokey to come on and talk about this project. I don't know if he'll do it, but let's try it.
I'm not gonna be here that day. I'm gonna do a buck wild.
I'm busy.
I can't do that.
All right. On that note, I think we better close it out here. And again, guys, thank you for being here. It was another great show. Thank you to Abe Thomson, and thank you to all the veterans. Today is Veterans Day.
Yes.
Wow. Ooh, how you connected that?
Yeah.
Things you say to the PD you love with all your heart. Look how you connected that, Lee. I love you, man.
You know, I've been doing this a long time.
You're my hero.
Yeah.
So join us next Thursday night.
Love you, Ron. Love you, Professor.
Time. And we have nothing but love for you guys. And if you're the people that are still with us, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe.
You played that damn Smokey thing and killed that damn show. You ever do that again? Oh, we still on?
I promise you. I promise you I won't do that again. So God bless all of you. Be safe. You know, if you haven't taken the shot, consider taking it. That's just me.
Take what after listening to that Smokey and the Temptation. Shit. I'm trying to hurry and get closer down now.
He said you need a vaccination.
Yeah, so and I want to thank
y'all. Booster.
I gotta thank Buck Wild for the suggestion on the earphones, and then Lee, this is the second time I've used XSplit, the VCam.
Okay. All right. So what do you think? You like it?
Yeah, it's cool because I like it because I blurred that background because I'm about to buy me a 1/8 50 millimeter lens so I can bring out my other camera. And do that so I could do that live, but I like the XSplit for right now, especially that control where I could blur me, and then I put that little watermark. I put the watermark up there. I mean, I put the logo. Yeah, I put it up there, so it worked good. The only thing it does is that it freezes, and then I'll freeze, and then I have to take it and redo it. So that
now you can put the watermark on there with XSplit.
Yes.
Yeah. See, and this is what I got to do because y'all make me sick. Y'all always inventing shit. So now I got to go put some damn glasses on like everybody else. Then I got to go put the damn watermark up here. What is next? Smokey and the Temptations?
And you know, I got to say this. I want to thank Mike Love for the 7 things to never say to another man.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, bro.
Yeah, it's genius.
Yeah, I'm so enlightened now.
As a matter of fact, you just came up with number 8, and it's all been inspired. It's all been inspired by Smokey and the Temptations.
I know that's right. Hey, man, I love y'all. Thank you.
All right. Love you too. You take care. God bless all, and be safe and be kind, and call somebody you haven't talked to in a long time.
Professor.
Please.
Oh,
please.
I talk to him, man.
Please do that.
He's gone.
It's
Good night.
Wow. Yeah.